Hello. Welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me.
8SWTF Chapter 176 Previous Chapter Next Chapter Advertisement. What? Are you waiting for me here? Hanxing looked at Anbu around him, and there was a hint of Elm under the mask. Kage, Your Excellency. Please return it to us, Master Bai, and Anbu dared to say. Here. Hanxing threw it to the surrounding Anbu. In the next second, the figure disappeared in a flash. Anbu, who received Bibi, looked stunned. This will be handed over to us by Mr. Bai? He just left. Another Anbu looked suspicious. Hurry up and take Mr. Bai to the hospital for treatment. I will go to Raikage's office and tell Secretary Marin about this to see what he thinks. The others go back to the village to see if that person has gone to the village. A prestige, the deep Anbu groaned. Clear. In Raikage's office, Ma Ren looked at the documents in front of him with a calm expression, but he was extremely irritable, because just now, Anbu had already informed him of Raikage's defeat. Now only Killer B and Han are fighting in Thundercloud Canyon. Hey, you said you had nothing to do to provoke him. He is a lonely man. If you push him too hard, what if he hunts down our Cloud Shinobi high-end combat power? Marin sighed, with helplessness in his voice. Angry without a fight. Whoosh! Quietly, Hanxing suddenly appeared in front of Marin. It's you. The pupils in Marin's eyes contracted violently and then returned to calm, and said in a deep voice, You can appear here. It seems that you won the Battle of Thundercloud Canyon. How about the comparison? I was taken to the hospital by you Anbu for treatment. Then what are you doing here? Marin frowned. Advertisement. I would like to ask if the Konoha troops stationed on the Sand Shinobi front are returning to Konoha? Why are you asking this? Marin's frown deepened. It is rumored that this person is Tsunade's fiancé. Is he looking for Tsunade? Thinking of this, Marin told his information. I don't know why, half a month ago, Konoha called back all the high-end combat power stationed in other places, and he stayed in the village and never came back. Among them, Senju Tsunade made a scene in Konoha for some unknown reason, and then left Konoha without a trace. Oh, is Tsunade back? Good. It seems she knows everything, Hanxing laughed. Master Han, what do you know? Marin asked carefully. You'll find out later. Does that mean that all the high-end combat power of Konoha today is there? Yes. Including Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Namikaze Minato, Marin said solemnly. What about their borders? All of them are strong, and the elite Jonin is guarding them. Got it. Thank you for your information. I have something to do. After Hanxing finished speaking, the figure disappeared again. Looking at the back of Hanxing leaving, Ma was wrinkled, thinking about the information that could be used in the conversation between the two. Vortex Kingdom ruins. It's night. The full moon hangs high. Add a touch of color to the whole earth. After Hanxing came back from the Land of Thunder, he came here in a hurry. If he guessed correctly, Tsunade is waiting there now. Speaking of which, he was also careless. He never thought that he would stay in the Land of Thunder for a month. Advertisement all the way, wearing a cloak and wearing the moon. The weather is full of dust, and after a day of traveling at full speed, Hanxing finally came back here. In the electromagnetic induction, a wave of human body is waiting here quietly. That human body wave is very familiar to Hanxing, no doubt it is Tsunade. As soon as the figure moved, Hanxing quietly appeared in front of Tsunade. Sorry, it took a while to go to the Land of Thunder. You have been waiting here for a long time. It's you? You finally appeared. Tsunade heard the familiar voice, his whole body trembled for a while, and then the tears flowed down unconsciously, and he ran into Hanxing's arms and cried loudly. What you said is true. Really, after I go back, the blood of the Senju clan is really dead. They are all dead. Not only that, but even the Senju clan who were living in the old age were sacrificed in that battle. Now, the Senju family, except for the two 60-year-old uncles who are raising their old age in the Senju family. Everyone else is dead. They are all dead. Only the two of us are left. Woohoo! Tsunade was sobbing and slapping Hanxing's shoulders. Obviously, the pressure was a little too much these days, and his nerves were too tense. Hanxing stretched out his hand and silently patted Tsunade's back, accompanied by her wanton catharsis. After a while, Tsunade was crying. His figure became smaller and smaller, and a slight snoring sound gradually came from Hanxing's shoulders. Alas! Hanxing sighed, picked up Tsunade and walked towards his hidden spot. Lighting the firewood, Hanxing accompanies Tsunade to sleep peacefully in the flickering lights. He didn't have a good rest this month, and after another day of high-intensity rushing, it didn't take long for Hanxing to fall asleep. Early next morning, Hanxing woke up from his deep sleep and glanced at Tsunade, who was still asleep. "Grab some firewood and start cooking," advertisement. It didn't take long for the strong fragrance to wake up the sleeping Tsunade. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and yawned. "What are you doing? It smells so good." Hearing this tone, Hanxing knew that after venting last night, Tsunade had returned to normal. "Breakfast," Hanxing said, pouring the prepared bowl to Tsunade and handing it over. Delicious. Tsunade is not too hot, and he drank half of the bowl in one bite. It seems that he is starving. "What's your plan in the future?" Hanxing poured himself a bowl and asked. "In the future? I plan to travel to the ninja world," Tsunade said, and then changed his voice. "However, now is not the time. Now that the 3 wars are not over, I don't know where to go. Anyway, Konoha, I don't want to go back, now." Saying that, she stared straight at Hanxing. "What do you see me doing?" Hanxing pretended to be puzzled. "You don't mean it," Tsunade said angrily. "How do I express it? You can live here if you want, can't I drive you away?" "Just no." Tsunade was satisfied with Hanxing's attitude. "Your soup is good. Another bowl. By the way, why do you always wear a mask? Can't you take it off, or you are not confident in your appearance? Or you have scars all over your face?" Tsunade said venomously. "For some reason, I don't want others to see my true colors." After a pause, Hanxing said again, "I don't belong to this world." "Cut. If you don't see it, don't watch it, it's so mysterious." Tsunade pouted in dissatisfaction. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download Feifei. Chapter 177 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Just after eating, Tsunade took out a seal scroll from his arms, handed it to Hanxing, and said, "This is for you." "What is this?" Hanxing asked suspiciously. "You open it up. I think you should need it." Tsunade looked mysterious. "It's a mystery." Hanxing pouted. "Open the seal scroll." A big cylindrical scroll appears here. "This is?" Hanxing's pupils contracted, and he said in shock, "The Book of Seals?" "Wrong. This is not as simple as the Book of Seals. To be precise, this is the original of the sealed scroll. The one in Hokage's office is just a copy," Tsunade said sternly. "What do you mean? This is the real sealed book?" Hanxing asked in shock. "How do you say it? You have 2 copies of the Book of Seals, one for this and one for Hokage's office. The ninjutsu on both are the same. This sealed book was secretly handed over to Immortal Katsuyu of Shibone Forest for safekeeping after the second grandpa took office. No one knows about it, except me, of course." "Don't say it, I didn't show you the sealed book, it's really ink." Tsunade couldn't take it anymore, opened the scroll, and a small scroll appeared inside. She handed the small scroll to Hanxing and said, "This is for you." "What is this?" Hanxing asked, a little guess in his heart. "This is all the wood-style ninjutsu practiced by Grandpa, and they are all here. I see that your body is full of vitality, and you will definitely awaken Grandpa's wood-style ninjutsu, so I will give it to you in advance," Tsunade said carelessly. Advertisement: "Now I have the lightning-style bloodline limit. If I practice wood-style, I will only waste my energy. It is better to specialize in lightning-style." Hanxing pondered. "So, you have awakened wood-style?" Tsunade's eyes lit up. "No, I'll just say it," Hanxing explained. "Whatever you want, if you don't practice, I'll leave these to Katsuyu for safekeeping. You're signing a contract with Shizuku Forest. When you want to practice, just tell Katsuyu directly," Tsunade said indifferently. "However, in the Book of Seals, there is indeed a kind of ninjutsu I need to visit." "What? Flying Thunder God? Or seal art?" "No, it's a spiritualization technique. Spiritual technique? What are you doing with that? Tsunade looked puzzled. This, I'll tell you later. Hanxing faltered. Okay. You sign a contract with Shizuku Forest first. Just ask Katsuyu to bring it back to Shibone Forest after you finish learning. Tsunade said in a big voice. Then, with a pitiful look on his face, he said, then do you have any money? I'll go to the nearby town to buy something. Here's to you. Hanxing directly took out 10,100 W taels and handed them to Tsunade. He naturally knew what Tsunade was going to do. Just right, without Tsunade's interruption, he could practice spiritualization technique with peace of mind. After confirming that Tsunade had left, Hanxing's eyes flashed coldly. I really don't give up at all. In the next instant, Hanxing completely disappeared in place. As early as this morning after waking up, Hanxing saw 3 stationary human magnetic fields in his electromagnetic induction. Advertisement, one of them Hanxing knew, it was Anbu Uchiha Wu who he let go. Unexpectedly, he has only been back for a day, and these people are here. If he guessed correctly, these 3 Anbu should not be looking for Hanxing, but staring at Tsunade. While his mind was spinning, Hanxing suddenly appeared behind the 3 Anbu. He patted Uchiha Wu's shoulder and said coldly. What? I didn't touch you last time because you belong to the Uchiha clan. How dare you come here this time? Uchiha lost his body for a while, and his whole body became trembling. He would never forget this person's voice. To be honest, if he could, he would never step into the country of the vortex. Here, the nightmare left to him is really too big. Han. Lord Han. Me. We are just here to find Lord Tsunade by order of Lord Hokage. Uchiha didn't speak calmly, and there was a trembling in his voice unconsciously. The other 2 Anbu who were just about to do it, after hearing Uchiha Wu's words, instantly dismissed the idea. This person's name is very famous among Anbu. He is a complete murderer, stronger than the current Hokage-sama. There is a saying in Anbu now, when you meet Han, don't think about doing it, the first thought is to run and protect your own life. Why are you looking for Tsunade? Is Yuan Fei Hiruzen looking for Tsunade to go back and help treat the wounded on the front line? Hanxing laughed disdainfully. Yes. Yes. There is nothing to hide from your eyes. Uchiha smiled without embarrassment. I'm happy today, so I won't kill you guys. Go back and tell Yuan Fei Hiruzen. I don't want to see a Konoha village ninja in the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. After a pause, Hanxing said again, by the way, go back and tell him that I will visit Konoha in person in a few days and let him gather as many people as he can. Otherwise, the game will be very boring. Advertisement. After speaking, regardless of the 3 people's reactions, Hanxing suddenly disappeared in place. After Hanxing disappeared, Uchiha had no face, and his face was full of horror. As an elite of the Uchiha clan, he naturally heard the meaning of Hanxing's words, and things were going to be big. Go back immediately and tell Hokage-sama. After talking with Uchiha, Hanxing returned to the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex and began to practice and carefully observe the cultivation method of the spiritualization technique. Since he opened the 7th gate these days, the depths of his body are still telling him not to open the 8th gate. But Hanxing was a little disbelieving. He carefully tried to open the 8th gate, but just after using the lightning style into an electric drill to touch the 8th gate, his forehead was sore. At this moment, he understands that the soul or spirit may be used to open the 8th gate. There are not many spiritual techniques in Hokage, and the first thing that Hanxing thinks of is Kato Dan's spiritualization technique. Originally, he thought that after he taught Yuan Fei Hiruzen a deep lesson, he would force Yuan Fei Hiruzen to ask for the sealed book. Who would have thought that Tsunade would give him such a big meeting gift? Naturally, I have to practice the spiritualization technique first and then go to Konoha. Anyway, Hanxing is not in a hurry. Spiritualization technique is to separate the spirit from the body, materialize the spirit, form a spirit body and fight with it. This kind of ninjutsu is called a ghost in the last world of Hanxing. This kind of ninjutsu has surpassed Fan Dao of ninjutsu. The spirit body is attached to the body, which can not only control the human body to fight, but also kill the enemy silently, which is extremely terrifying. Chapter 178. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Another feature of this technique is perception. Because of the spirit body, the specific location and situation of the target can be instantly sensed in the soul state, and it can fly directly to the target. It can be regarded as a quick support. In the original book, Kato Dan escaped from Kabuto's impure world reincarnation, flew to Tsunade, and saved Tsunade's life. The essence of spiritualization technique is the spiritual energy of the human body. If you want to cultivate spiritual energy, the first thing is the chakra in your body. Chakra is the combination of human and spiritual energy. Spiritual energy is undoubtedly extracted from the human soul, or based on human will. The stronger the will of the human being, the more spiritual energy can be extracted. This is also why many ninjas can burst out powerful energy when they are dying, turning the tide against the wind. This is not because they opened up, but the spirit has been sublimated, and the will has become extremely strong, resulting in a surge of spiritual energy. The most prominent one here is Kage Kimimaro. Kimimaro, who was about to die of illness, was buried 300 meters underground by the Gara Sand waterfall, and he was able to protrude from the ground and dash away because he was determined and his spirit was sublimated. As for Hanxing, he is different from others. He was born with a much stronger soul than others. Coupled with the practice of sage mode and electromagnetic induction, his spirit is naturally much stronger than others. More is more, but Hanxing doesn't know how to temper his spiritual energy. He learned spiritualization technique, and by the way, he learned the skills inside, tempered it, and increased his spiritual energy. Chakra, as a link between spirit and material, can extend the spiritual level through chakra. Hanxing sits cross-legged, closes his eyes, abandons the insensitivity around him, runs chakra, and finds his own spiritual energy. Soon Hanxing felt his own spiritual energy. Advertisement. After finding the right direction, Hanxing tried to condense the spiritual energy in front of him to form an entity. Suddenly, Hanxing had a flash of inspiration. What would happen if he incorporated spiritual energy into thunder fruit? Don't worry, after he intends to condense his soul into substance, he also wants to use lightning to temper his soul. Now condense the soul into substance and talk about it. Hanxing secretly. In the year of thinking, Hanxing began to control his spiritual energy and condense it into a human body. This method is extremely difficult, because Hanxing's soul energy is too huge. How should I put it? If the soul of a man is 1, then Hanxing's is at least 100, but he doesn't know how to use it. He usually only knows that electromagnetic induction can increase the energy of the soul. Therefore, after Hanxing awakened the sage body, Hanxing's the electromagnetic induction is basically never turned off, except for sleeping. Once, twice. After an unknown amount of time, a weak figure appeared in Hanxing's mind. He is like an old man who is dying, as if the wind blows and it will dissipate. After taking a long breath, Hanxing opened his eyes and found that it was already dark. He had to fill his stomach as he planned to go to the training space. It is estimated that Tsunade's temperament will not come back until he spends his money. After a casual meal, Hanxing entered the training space, changed to the wet bone forest scene and continued to practice the spiritualization technique. Looking at the weak soul in his mind, Hanxing tried if he could move. With a slight movement, the image of the person in my mind is broken into pieces like glass, falling into the spiritual energy. Advertisement. Hanxing is not in a hurry, anyway. There is time. He has now figured out how to control his mental energy, which is definitely a good thing.
A day later, Hanxing looked at the shadowy figure in his mind. This time, he did not let the figure move, but let it absorb the mental energy in his mind. As soon as this idea moved, the mental energy in my mind began to gather crazily here. The two have the same root and the same origin. Therefore, at a speed visible to the naked eye, the figure in his mind began to gradually solidify. Until finally, the figure in Hanxing's mind had turned into a huge vortex around it, devouring it crazily. Spiritual energy surrounding it. After absorbing all the soul power in Hanxing's mind, a soul visible to the naked eye appeared in his mind. This soul is incomparably solid, like reality. With the appearance of this soul in his mind, Hanxing feels like he has entered another world.
The crazy spread of electromagnetic induction will stop when it reaches the critical point. Feeling the range of electromagnetic induction in his mind, Hanxing was terrified. Before condensing his soul, his electromagnetic induction would cover the entire Konoha at most, but after condensing his soul, it doubled directly. This terrifying increase is not ordinary. Open your eyes. Hanxing begins to seal the seal according to the spiritual technique's seal method.
After a while, Hanxing's consciousness suddenly appeared in midair, and the maximum range he could fly was the range he could perceive. After walking around, Hanxing returned to his body. He touched his chin and pondered. After completing the imprint, the flow of chakra in the body is completely different from that of ordinary ninjutsu. The flow of ordinary ninjutsu is undoubtedly towards the outside of the body, but the chakra of spiritualized technique does the opposite. Be restrained, and even disappear in an instant. This chakra may be difficult to see with the naked eye, but in the spiritual world of Hanxing, it can be seen clearly. Advertisement. This chakra acts directly on the soul after spiritualization, freeing it from the bondage of the body, which is equivalent to a key to open the shackles of people and let the soul come out.
Forget it. Hanxing shook his head and threw out the distracting thoughts in his mind. The spiritualization technique was successful. Next, the second stage, Thunderbolt, exercised the soul. If other ninjas knew about Hanxing's training method, they would be speechless in shock. They have heard of thunder and lightning body forging, but thunder and lightning exercise the soul. Their first reaction is that the person must be crazy, or seek abuse. Thunder and lightning exercise the soul. This statement alone makes people shudder. Hanxing's thoughts moved, and the black and white thunder attribute chakra poured out towards Hanxing's soul. Crackle. Crackle. Thunder attribute chakra just entered Hanxing's spiritual body. Hanxing's brain is like a needle stick. The pain is extremely, and it is as numb as 10,000 ants eat the heart. What? For a time, the unbearable Hanxing roared hysterically, and the whole person rolled back and forth in the wet bone forest. His eyes were red, and his expression was hideous, like a ghost in the dust. Half an hour later, when Hanxing finally could not bear it, did Hanxing remove the thunder attribute chakra in his mind. Hoo-hoo! Hanxing gasped loudly. His whole body was soaked in sweat, and his whole body was like the expression of the rest of his life. Chapter 179 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. F***K. It hurts so much. Hanxing felt the pain in his mind lessen, and his whole body was lying on the wet bone forest floor without any image. It is estimated that only a lunatic like me would think of such a method. With a murmur, Hanxing begins the next stage. With his current soul pain, he can't temper his soul with the thunder attribute. When he recovers, he can continue tempering. What we need to do now is, the next step, to integrate the spiritual energy into the sound of thunder and blood. Spiritual energy, also known as yin escape, in addition to the 5 attributes of wind, thunder, water, fire and soil, there are also 2 attributes of yin and yang in the ninja world. These 2 attributes can be said to be above the 5 attributes. Yin dun creates form in nothing. Yang dun gives life to form. The fusion of yin-yang and 2 dun can create all things, and create life in the invisible. For example, Naruto can give Guy a heart and create an eye for Kakashi after gaining the Sage of 6 Paths ability. Another example, the tailed beast is also created by yin and yang. If Hanxing can successfully integrate psychic energy into thunder bloodline, his lightning style can damage psychic objects, such as Shinigami. Impure world reincarnation in the original book cannot be restored. In short, if the spirit can be integrated into lightning style, there are many benefits, and the strength will be greatly increased. With a thought, Hanxing closed his eyes and shielded his facial features. First, he felt how his soul was changed by the thunder attribute chakra. In his mind, looking at the soul body that was obviously missing from before, Hanxing's eyes lit up. Advertisement. Open your eyes, ignore the pain in your mind, Hanxing quickly seals. Moments later, Hanxing's spirit body appeared in midair. After making some gestures in midair, the Hanxing spirit body flew back into the body. The body is more solid, the feeling is more powerful, the perception range has increased a little, but it is not big. Even so, Hanxing was ecstatic, he felt like he was right. When the soul is condensed to the essence and tempered without thunder and lightning, it may be time for him to open the 8th gate. Aside from distractions, Hanxing began to try to incorporate spiritual energy into the thunder bloodline. Crackle. Crackle. Chakra is the bond between the spirit and the body. Hanxing now transforms the chakra in the body into the thunder attribute chakra, and is manipulating the spiritual energy to try to integrate it. As soon as the two met, they separated quickly like an electric shock. Is there too much mental energy? With a murmur, Hanxing manipulated the psychic energy again and began to try. Just when Hanxing was trying to incorporate psychic energy into thunder bloodline. The land of fire. Konoha, Hokage office. Yuan Fei Hiruzen looked at the information in front of the table. His face became more and more ugly. Advertisement, Mr. Yuan Fei. What the hell are you asking us to do back? We can't drag on the border for a long time, otherwise, other countries are likely to take advantage of this to attack. Jiraiya said with some dissatisfaction. Since I called them back half a month ago, I didn't say anything, just let them repair. It's been half a month, and I didn't say let them go back to the border. There are no Kage-level powerhouses like them on the border. If various countries attack the Konoha border, it is impossible for the ninjas stationed there to resist. Hey, look at this information. Yuan Fei Hiruzen sighed and handed the information on the table to Jiraiya. Understood. Jiraiya took it nonchalantly, and at this look, the original indifference turned serious. Is this true? Jiraiya said, passing the information to Orochimaru. It's true. This was sent back to Konoha by Uchiha's useless special means, Yuan Fei Hiruzen said. Why did he come to Konoha? We Konoha didn't provoke him. Could it be to help Tsunade vent his anger? Jiraiya asked suspiciously. Whether you have provoked teacher Yuan Fei knows best. Otherwise, he wouldn't say such a thing. Orochimaru added his lower lip, and his upside-down eyes swept the top officials of Konoha. If it's true, then it's troublesome. Jiraiya frowned. Others don't know how scary Hanxing is, but he still knows it. He saw with his own eyes the scene of Hanxing hammering 4 tails, 5 tails. That kind of battle, even if he is a Kage level, is a little scary. That's right, what Jiraiya thinks about is panic, and I'm afraid he won't be able to make a move in front of that kind of enemy. If he dares to come, my Konoha will follow. Really think we Konoha are vegetarians? A lonely man dares to kill our Konoha. Does he really think our Konoha is scared? Utatane Kaharu said with righteous indignation. Jiraiya rolled his eyes. What you said is so nice. When that person really came to Konoha, you shot. It's just a joke. Judging from Wu's information, that person will be here at most in the next few days. You two should stay in Konoha for a few days, Yuan Fei Hiruzen pondered. Mr. Yuan Fei, I'm sorry. I'm going back to the front line. I've been away for a long time. I'm afraid Cloud Shinobi is going to do it, Orochimaru said calmly. Advertisement, Orochimaru, 4th Raikage has just taken office, so he shouldn't start a war so early. Now, the issue of Han is the most important thing, Yuan Fei Hiruzen said solemnly. Sorry Mr. Yuan Fei, I won't be involved in this matter, and I will go back to the front line tomorrow. Orochimaru said calmly. As a doctor of Ninja World, a high IQ talent, he can infer at a glance, what is Han-like Konoha doing? First, because Tsunade wanted to come here to make a fuss, and second, maybe because of the deaths of Senju children. Orochimaru has a hunch that this second point is probably the ultimate goal of Han-like Konoha. As for the children of the Senju clan who were killed by spies from other countries, this kind of argument deceives a fool like Jiraiya, but it doesn't matter to him at all. Orochimaru. What's your attitude? Don't even listen to Hokage's orders. Utatane Kaharu shouted angrily. Are you teaching me to do things? Elder Utatane Kaharu? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes and stared at Utatane Kaharu with a pair of vertical eyes. Utatane Kaharu was stared at by Orochimaru. His whole body felt like his hair was standing on end. His whole body was as cold as winter came, and a cold sweat unknowingly flowed out from his forehead. Okay. Orochimaru, leave Konoha tomorrow, Yuan Fei Hiruzen said with a headache. I know Mr. Yuan Fei, Orochimaru said, and left the office. After Orochimaru left, Utatane Kaharu hurriedly took out his handkerchief and wiped the cold sweat on his forehead with a lingering fear in his eyes. Seeing this, Jiraiya secretly pouted, this may be the invincible mouth gun. At the same time, there was a hint of doubt in Jiraiya's eyes. Did Orochimaru know something? Mr. Yuan Fei. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Chapter 180 Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement. Go. Yuan Fei Hiruzen waved his hands a little tiredly. Turning his head, he said to Utatane Kaharu, let's go too. Alright then, Yuan Fei. Don't think too much, in case he didn't come here to trouble us, Mitokado Homura said. Yuan Fei Hiruzen's mouth twitched. The information was written so clearly that he didn't come to trouble them, but he also knew that it was Mitokado Homura comforting her. After a while, when Hokage's office became Yuan Fei Hiruzen again, his face instantly became haggard. Hanxing's whole person is like a big mountain on top of his head. If Hanxing's problems are not solved, he will always have trouble sleeping and eating. On a street not far from Hokage's office, Jiraiya was holding a pen, writing and drawing, with a wretched expression on her face. A figure suddenly appeared in front of him. After seeing the figure, Jiraiya wondered, Orochimaru, aren't you gone? What are you doing here? Wait for me. Don't interfere in the matter of Han and Konoha. Go back to the front line early tomorrow morning. Orochimaru finished speaking. Without explaining to Jiraiya, the whole person fell into the darkness again. Orochimaru. What do you mean? Can't you make it clearer? Jiraiya shouted. Even so, Jiraiya's brows were furrowed together. Orochimaru was smarter than him in Tsunade since he was a child, and he had far-reaching considerations. He must have a point. Forget it. Go and ask Mr. Yuan Fei tomorrow. Jiraiya shook her head and continued her creation. Hanxing doesn't know what happened at Konoha at night. At this time, he has been in the cultivation space for 9 days. In these 9 days, Hanxing's spirit and the sound of thunder and blood have initially reached a clue. I believe that it will take a long time to succeed. On the other hand, the pain in my mind has not recovered. Hanxing estimates that it will take at least a month to cultivate. In a month, the outside world is 3 days, and he can still wait for these 3 days. Advertisement 3 days later, in the god-level cultivation space, Hanxing felt that his mind had recovered as before, with a smile on Hanxing's face. Not bad, finally recovered. Saying that, manipulating the thunder attribute chakra ran to the spirit body in the mind of the town again. Crackle. Crackle. The terrifying scream resounded again. After more than an hour, Hanxing stopped shouting. The whole person is like a waterlogging general. In general, Hanxing continues to develop and incorporate spiritual energy into lightning-style bloodline. After a month of development, Hanxing has been able to reach the point of initial integration of the two, and it is considered that the development is completed, and the next step is the problem of proficiency. Crackle. Crackle. Hanxing looked at the black thunderbolt in his hand, expressionless. This is the thunder and lightning after he joins the spiritual energy. The power is greater and stronger than before. The key point is that this black lightning strikes not only the human body, but also the soul, a double attack. The only pity for him is that although the fusion is successful, it is not his bloodline. The last time I used thunder and lightning, it was still white with black. If you want to use the lightning, you have to fuse it yourself. All Hanxing has to do now is to speed up the fusion of yin and escape, preferably within a second. After cultivating in it for another 10 days, Hanxing opened and closed his eyes, glanced at the crescent moon in the sky, stood up, and muttered, "It's time. Yuan Fei Hiruzen doesn't know if you're ready. Leave a note here and tell Tsunade to leave for a while, and with a flash, run towards her through the border." Advertisement 3 days later, in the early morning, in a town not far from Konoha, Hanxing appeared here with a look of embarrassment on his face. He didn't go directly to Konoha, he planned to go at night. After finding something to eat in a restaurant, after taking a bath and changing into cool clothes, Hanxing fell asleep inside. After all, there will be a battle later, so there is nothing wrong with raising his spirits. This sleep, it's night time. After waking up, I practiced again in the cultivation space. Putting on a black shirt and a mask, the figure disappeared in a flash. Konoha, in an open space, Hanxing looked at all the familiar things in front of him, and his mood was a little complicated. He didn't expect that he would come here one day to destroy Konoha. After sensing the direction of Kushina, Hanxing disappeared in a flash. Just when Hanxing left, Konoha, formation class. A ninja who was maintaining the Konoha barrier changed his face and shouted, "Go and inform Lord Hokage that someone has broken into Konoha." "Captain, do you feel wrong? We Konoha are the largest country in the ninja world. How can we force our way into it?" A barrier ninja joked. "Really, no kidding. Go and inform Lord Hokage. The location is near Hokage Rock." Understood. It seemed that the captain didn't seem to be joking. The barrier ninja realized the problem, and after speaking, the whole person hurried towards the Hokage building. In a refined bungalow, Kushina hummed a song, wrapped the whole car with scarves, and came out of the bathroom. Thinking about it, she was in a good mood today, as if she had forgotten what happened more than a month ago. Advertisement: take out a can of milk from the refrigerator, open it and drink it in one breath, squinting with a satisfied smile on your face. "That's great. If only it were like this every day. You look good today." A very abrupt voice sounded from the side. Kushina opened her eyes instantly and saw Hanxing's outfit. Her expression instantly became gritted. "What are you doing here?" "Teach Yuan Fei Hiruzen a lesson." "Then what are you doing here?" Kushina frowned. "If you don't want to be attacked by their tailed beasts, I'll leave now," Hanxing said indifferently. "Humph. Are you concerned about the old lady?" Kushina's mouth twitched into an arc. "I just want to ask your opinion. Should I take me to a nearby town to hide for a while, or stay here? Otherwise, when Namikaze Minato comes back, you won't even think about it. This is my mother's own house, and I have separated from Namikaze Minato." Kushina rolled her eyes. "You won't be jealous." "Forget it. I'm leaving. They seem to have found me. You can do it yourself," Hanxing said, and the figure suddenly disappeared in place. The moment Hanxing left, Namikaze Minato's worried voice sounded outside. "Kushina, are you in any trouble?" "No. What's the matter, Minato? I just took a shower," Kushina said inside. "Someone in Konoha broke in." "You're fine. I'll go out to find someone first. Please pay attention to yourself." After that, Namikaze Minato left in a hurry. Right at this moment, a voice resembling a big bell and a bell echoed through the entire Konoha with the rolling chakra. "Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Shimura Danzo. Utatane Kaharu, a member of the Mitokado Homura 4 clans. Listen. I Senjuhan came to Konoha to destroy Ur and other clans." Chapter 181. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Yuan Fei. As soon as this voice came out, whether it was a poor man or a ninja, up to the old man, down to the child, the whole Konoha was like a calm lake, splashing monstrous waves. I heard it right. Does this voice mean to destroy the Hokage-sama clan? Key. Is there an enemy in Konoha? Out? Something big has happened? Namikaze Minato's face changed abruptly when he heard the voice, and he turned into an afterimage and ran towards Hokage's office. The Uchiha family. Uchiha Fukuchu opened his eyes, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes, and then a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Senju clan. There is still a male clan still alive. It's Han, who was born out of thin air recently. Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Ha 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 ha. Let's see what you do this time. Father. Are we going to help when the enemy is coming? Uchiha Fugaku said respectfully. Go. Send a few more people and let them do what they want. After all, it's not to trouble us. Advertisement, clear. The other clans reacted differently from the Uchiha clan. The Nara clan, the Akamichi clan, the Yamanaka clan, and other Konoha clans rushed to the Hokage building after hearing this shout. In the blink of an eye, the Hokage building is already surrounded by densely packed ninjas. The leaders are the leaders of each group. At this time, their expressions are different. Some are ugly, some are calm, and some even glowed at misfortune and so on. The Hokage office, Yuan Fei Hiruzen and other 4 people's faces turned pitch black when they heard this shout. Really bold. To destroy our clan. Do you really think our Konoha is made of mud? Yuan Fei must not let this person leave alive tonight. Konoha must not be provocative. Utatane Kaharu cursed directly. Do you think we can keep him alone? Yuan Fei Hiruzen's tone was soothing, and he was extremely shocked. He didn't expect that this sudden appearance of Han was actually a Senju clan. Why not? There are so many of us Konoha. Can't we leave him alone? Don't say he is from the Senju clan. Even if not, Konoha will never allow him to provoke him. Utatane Kaharu's face was ashen. Yuan Fei Hiruzen ignored this brainless old friend, looked at Danzo and Mitokado Homura who were silent next to him and said, "Let's go. Let's go out and see." Yuan Fei Hiruzen took a firm step towards the outside. He finally knew why Han hated Konoha so much, because it was the reason for the Senju clan to exterminate. Alas. I hope things don't go in the worst direction, otherwise, Konoha may. Yuan Fei Hiruzen thought to himself. Behind him, Danzo, followed by Mitokado Homura, was silent, but his face was extremely cold. Master Hokage. Seeing Yuan Fei, Hiruzen and others coming out, all the ninjas waiting in Konoha said respectfully. Advertisement: evacuate the civilians. Send all the residents to the shelter. Activate the first level alert. Yuan Fei Hiruzen waved his hand and then said. After a pause, he scanned the surrounding ninjas and said with a smile, "Everyone, come with me to the door to greet the old man." This smile made people feel like a spring breeze, and made the ninjas present to see, and the tense body was rarely relaxed. If Hanxing were to do it again, he would definitely praise him loudly, as expected of the first person to brainwash Konoha. After all, wearing a white royal robe, and walking towards the door with a group of ninjas, the momentum is really huge, like a torrent composed of a crowd, with ninjas joining in from time to time, which is extremely spectacular. At the door, Hanxing, wearing a stretched black tights and an Anbu mask, stood proudly, looking at Yuan Fei Hiruzen who was walking in the distance. His eyes were full of sarcasm. Your Excellency is Senju Han. Speaking of which, Your Excellency is considered to be related to me Konoha. My Konoha first Hokage is the patriarch of the Senju clan, established by Senju Hashirama. The Senju clan still has 2 elders living here for the aged. Yuan Fei Hiruzen laughed and played the emotional card. Yeah. You still have 2 left for retirement. What about the other clansmen? You tell me. Hanxing's indifferent tone was full of disdain. Ha ha ha. You must know that during World War II, the Senju family took the lead and were extremely brave. The Senju family took a lot of credit for the victory in World War II. But because of this, they lost a lot of clansmen. They are all heroes who died for our Konoha. They will always be remembered on Konoha's merit monument. Yuan Fei Hiruzen was full of emotion, and Kakuzu had a tear in his eyes. This tone made some young ninjas behind them excited. Hanxing curled his lips in disdain and sneered, "You can lie to people like Tsunade who have an IQ in front of you. Lie to me? Do you think it's okay? You have to know who you learned your political tactics from. Also the Monument of Merit. When I went to the cemetery to worship the Senju clan, why didn't I see the body of my Senju clan ancestor, Senju Hashirama? Advertisement: don't tell me it was a rat that bit the nonsense. Just do human experiments. When you do human experiments, don't talk nonsense. Senju Han. For the sake of you being the last member of the Senju clan, we can ignore what you just said. If you don't want to anger Konoha, just leave here," Shimura Danzo said coldly. Ha ha ha. Hanxing pointed at Danzo, laughed ha ha ha, and then his face turned cold. Have mercy on me? The last of the Senju clan? What are you? While Hanxing was speaking, he quietly appeared behind Danzo, and when no one responded at all, he held Danzo's neck with one hand and appeared at the gate. The voice said savagely, "Just because you are a mouse that only hides in the dark sewer." Cold. Let go of Danzo. Say something. Yuan Fei Hiruzen was horrified, and even with his current strength, he could only see an afterimage vaguely in the air. At this speed, I am afraid that even Minato's flying thunder god can't reach it. Let go. Yuan Fei Hiruzen, you should know what I'm here for, right? We're not going to die. You 4 rats who can only play tricks, designed to destroy the country of the Vortex and the Senju clan. Today, it is not too much for me to destroy the clan of your 4 old dogs. Hanxing's tone was indifferent, and his voice was indeed very firm. As soon as his voice fell, the Konoha shinobi around him had a huge wave in their hearts. What did they hear? Hokage-sama actually killed the Senju clan in the country of the Vortex. What a shocking revelation this is. Chapter 182. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Senju Han. Don't talk nonsense, Yuan Fei shouted with a livid face. He. Did I tell you nonsense? Hanxing sneered, turned his head, and looked at Danzo. Have you already transplanted first Hokage cells and Uchiha's Sharingan in this dress? Danzo's face flushed red, but his eyes were full of horror. He didn't transplant the first Hokage cells, but he did transplant a few Uchiha family Sharingans. How does this man know? How does he seem to know everything, that our secrets are not hidden in him? Let go of Danzo. Otherwise, don't blame the old man for not thinking that you are a member of the Senju clan. Yuan Fei Hiruzen said angrily, with a hint of coldness in his voice. What? You think you can talk to me like this when you transfer the civilians to the shelter? Well, let me see what the strength of the four of you, who only play tricks and tricks, are. Hanxing sneered, and while everyone was stunned, he snapped Danzo's neck. Like throwing garbage, throw it in front of Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Yuan Fei Hiruzen took it in a daze. Danzo is dead. He reached out to touch Danzo's pulse. Yuan Fei Hiruzen's face was extremely red, like a volcano about to erupt. You actually killed Danzo. The old man will never let you go in the name of Hokage, absolutely. Senju Han. You are fine. What are you still doing? Give it to me. Kill him. Utatane Kaharu roared. You can think about it. This is about my Senju family and these four guys. Are you sure you want to participate? Hanxing's eyes were like knives, and he swept to the ninja family of Konoha one by one. Advertisement and inexplicable aura spread out from the surroundings, covering the entire Konoha in an instant. Awaken. Buzz. Buildings, flowers, trees, began to turn into black and white lightning at a speed visible to the naked eye, and in the blink of an eye, the entire Konoha instantly turned into a field of lightning. I will give you 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, this minefield will still be in the original shape. After 10 minutes, if you don't leave, you will become the nourishment of this minefield. Hanxing's voice was flat, but it spread throughout Konoha. Some ninjas with them at home were horrified when they looked at the building that turned into thunder and lightning in front of them. Among them, the Uchiha family is the most. All the ninjas of the Uchiha clan, bring the young and old of the clan, and leave the area where Konoha is located immediately. Uchiha Fukusho's face was ashen and he shouted loudly. He didn't expect that Senju Han would have such a wide range of moves. He could feel the violent energy from these thunderbolts. Hanxing looked indifferent, glanced at the ninjas around him, and showed a smile. Come on. Let me see what the first power of Konoha is. Yuan Fei, Hiruzen and the others were horrified. He knew that Hanxing had this kind of move, but he didn't expect that this kind of big move could be so broad that it could cover the entire Konoha. Looking at the sea of thunder that he was in, Yuan Fei Hiruzen's face suddenly became gloomy. Today, maybe the entire Konoha plenum will disappear from the ninja world because of this person. Glancing at the panicked ninjas around, Yuan Fei Hiruzen's expression darkened again, gritted his teeth and said, What the hell are you doing? Didn't I say it? I want you four old people to be wiped out. Only in this way can I comfort my Senju clan in the sky. Impossible. Utatane Kaharu said directly. Advertisement. Whoosh. In the same way, Hanxing pulled Utatane Kaharu to the door, stepped on her head, and said coldly, Do you have the right to speak here? If second Hokage hadn't accepted you as a disciple, with your ability, you would stand its here? With a wave of Hanxing's hand, the surrounding thunder and lightning slowly surrounded Utatane Kaharu. This thunder and lightning are many times higher than ordinary lightning style. If you move, it's not my fault that they are swallowed up by them. You. Under the ground, Utatane Kaharu looked at Hanxing in horror. Next to her was the dense black and white lightning, and the scalp was numb. Earth-style Earth Dragon Bullet. Fire-style Fire Dragon Ball Technique. Compound Ninjutsu Earth Dragon Flame Stream. Yuan Fei Hiruzen has started. A huge Earth Dragon and a fiery Fire Dragon appeared out of thin air with Yuan Fei Hiruzen's seal, and then the two merged in midair, turning into an Earth and Fire Dragon, rushing towards Hanxing. Following Yuan Fei Hiruzen's actions, Some Enbu loyal to Yuan Fei Hiruzen flew out of the crowd and rushed towards Hanxing. There were about 200 or 300 people in the crowd. I don't know, Hanxing sneered and waved his palm. The thunderfield surged, and 1,000 copies of thunder and lightning with violent force rushed towards these people. As soon as it flew into the air, without any reaction, it turned into a charred corpse and fell from the air. Some of them are bloody mouths that were turned into by the sea of thunder, swallowed up, and the dead can no longer die. The earth-fire dragon in front of Hanxing flew halfway and was directly swallowed by the thunder and lightning beside him. In the blink of an eye, 200 or 300 people were wiped out. Yuan Fei Hiruzen's face was ashen, and his heart was bleeding. Advertisement. The patriarchs of the major families watched this scene with a hint of happiness in their shock. Fortunately, he didn't act rashly just now, otherwise, he would be the same as those people just now. Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Do you only have this level? If you only have this, then your family will be destroyed today. After a pause, Hanxing swept away the ninja behind Yuan Fei Hiruzen and said, "Of course, if you can stop it." Summoning technique. Yuan Fei Hiruzen roared, biting his fingers and making prints on his hands. Boom! Amidst the smoke, an ape dressed in a ninja clothes appeared in front of Yuan Fei Hiruzen, looking at the scene in front of him, startled. What's the matter with Yuan Fei? Is Konoha under siege? Ape demon. Quickly become a golden hoop. The enemy on the opposite side is not easy. Yuan Fei Hiruzen did not explain much and said anxiously. Got it. Ape demon knew the seriousness of the matter, and instantly changed into the appearance of a golden hoop, appearing in Yuan Fei Hiruzen's hand. Ninjas of Konoha. Follow me to meet the enemy. Yuan Fei Hiruzen turned into a battle costume. Holding a golden cudgel, a terrifying aura erupted from his body. This is the aura of a peak Kage-level powerhouse. This belongs the momentum of shadow of a nation. Unfortunately, very few of him responded. The patriarchs around Konoha are not fools. This is obviously because the enemy is strong and I am weak, not the general strong one. Didn't you see that the person who helped you just now has become a corpse? And people said that you are here just to trouble your 4 clans. Chapter 183. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's not their family, that is to say, it's the few of you who provoke such a powerful enemy, and it has nothing to do with them. If they listened to your advice and used them as helpers, they would be like corpses on the ground in an instant. What do you mean? Yuan Fei Hiruzen said in anger when he saw that no one stood up behind him. In response to Yuan Fei Hiruzen's inquiry, all the Konoha clan chiefs bowed their heads one after another. If the crowd tactics worked, they wouldn't mind rushing up, but the question was useful. These people are still in the minefield of others, and it is difficult for them to protect themselves. If they really want to rush up, I am afraid they will be swallowed by the surrounding thunder sea in an instant. As the head of a clan, they are concerned not only with their own interests, but also with the interests of the clan. Their brains are not so fast. Yuan Fei, let me help you. Mitokado Homura took a step forward. It's okay if others don't help, but he can't help. After all, he and Yuan Fei Hiruzen are now ants on the same boat. Hey, chill. Stop it. Konoha was also created by your ancestor Senju Hashirama. You have already destroyed this village with your own hands. Do you want to make the country of fire disappear and make the 5 kingdoms become the 4? Jiraiya stepped forward 1 step, and a sigh. He now finally understands why Orochimaru told him to ignore Han and teacher Yuan Fei. He regretted a little. Why didn't he listen to Orochimaru's advice and go to the Konoha border to garrison? Instead he stayed here and paid attention to these messes. As for what Duan Han said was true or false, he didn't want to judge, and he didn't have to judge. A strong man like Han didn't even bother to play small tricks. After contacting Tsunade a few days ago, he went wild and left Konoha. No matter how stupid he was, he would understand Han's words. Authenticity in advertisement. Sorry Lord Han. Lord Hokage is so kind to me. I can't watch Lord Hokage get killed. Namikaze Minato came out with a wry smile and took out a handful of kunai. Very good. 3 more. Who else? Come out together. Let's see how many people will accompany Yuan Fei Hiruzen to death, Hanxing said with a smile. Lord Han. You call yourself a Senju clan. Can you come up with a proof that you are a Senju clan? If you can prove it, my Nara clan will promise not to care about the affairs between you and 3rd Hokage-sama. Naraluku bit the bullet. Open your mouth. I am also the Akamichi clan, the Yamanaka clan, the Aburame clan. All the clan chiefs expressed their opinions for a while. When Hanxing heard these people's expressions, he knew that they were already scared. The excuse they made was just to find a way to go down. These people went down the stairs, and Hanxing gave them to them. He came here only to destroy Yuan Fei and other useless clansmen, that is, dragon characters. As for some of the original works, he will not destroy them. He doesn't want to go back to the future and cause a big butterfly effect. Since you have proved it, I will give it to you. I hope you will keep your word, otherwise, if my ancestor Senju Hashirama can open up Konoha, I can destroy Konoha. After Hanxing finished speaking, the rich aura of life suddenly erupted from his body, turning into a wave of waves and swept away inside. This powerful breath of life is definitely the Senju family, Nara Shikahisa murmured. Then he said loudly, I mean what I say, our Nara clan quit the fight between your two clans. After speaking, he walked up to 3rd Hokage. I'm sorry, Lord 3rd Hokage. The Nara clan come with me. After Lu Ju's words were shouted, the other clan chiefs also came out from the crowd and led the clan to leave the vortex of struggle in Konoha. Before leaving, I said sorry to Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Yuan Fei Hiruzen was so angry that his face was ashen, but he couldn't say anything. Advertisement because, this is not a family, but all the families of Konoha. This is the reason why public anger is hard to be offended. After the big family went out, there were only a few civilian ninjas left. Hanxing was the voice of the poor. Naturally, he knew how difficult it was for civilian ninjas to practice. Let's go too, of course. Yuan Fei, Shimura, go to bed, Mito and other 4 clans will stay. I will destroy their clan today, Hanxing said coldly. The civilian ninja didn't think much about it. Might Dai ran out of here first. In his opinion, he was a genin. Although there are 8 inner gates, but looking at the surrounding minefields, it is estimated that they are not opponents, and they are just to add chaos. But he didn't know that his departure was like a fuse, attracting other poor ninjas. In the blink of an eye, there were only 2,300 people left in the originally dense crowd. These people are all ninjas of the 4 clans. So much, it seems that Yuan Fei Hiruzen, you have been sending resources to your clan all these years as Hokage, Hanxing sneered. Get out of here quickly, you are not allowed to fight here. At this moment, Yuan Fei Hiruzen shouted to the ninjas behind him. But as soon as he shouted, he found out that Hanxing made his move, and a shadow clone appeared in the Sea of Thunder at an unknown time. He is like a Kun master in the thunder and lightning, ignoring the high-voltage electricity around him, stretched out his hand. The surrounding thunder sea suddenly turned into waves, and the 200 or 300 ninjas below swallowed it away. Fire style, wind style, earth style, these ninjas have taken out their best ninjutsu and blasted to the surrounding thunder seas. It's a pity that these ninjutsu waves also appeared in the Sea of Thunder, and they were swallowed up by the dense Sea of Thunder. Yuan Fei Hiruzen looked at this scene. His eyes were splitting, and he was extremely ferocious. Senjuhan. This old man swears. I will never let you go. You don't have to be so angry, there are no 2 of your sons here. How can I say, you have worked for Konoha for so many years. I deliberately knocked your 2 sons unconscious and threw them into the Konoha forest. Let's take a look outside, Hanxing said lightly. Advertisement he wouldn't say that, for the sake of the original, he didn't want to change too much to prevent the butterfly effect from going back. Do you think this old man will believe your words? While speaking, Yuan Fei Hiruzen jumped up and swung towards Hanxing with a golden hoop. At the moment of waving away, the golden hoop in his hand instantly turned into a giant pillar, pressing down towards Hanxing. Seeing this, Jiraiya and others also started to do it. Ninja Jizo Needle. Fire style How Long Fire Technique. Jiraiya's white hair suddenly stretched, like a hedgehog with thorns all the time. Then the sharp white hairs shot at Hanxing like arrows. As soon as Mitokado Homura's voice fell, chakra surged throughout his body. Along with a burst of heat, a compressed fire dragon rose into the air, and the fire dragon rushed towards Hanxing. Compared with the 2, Namikaze Minato is much simpler. The special kunai throws directly at Hanxing, and a light blue chakra ball appears in his hand. In the next moment, its figure suddenly disappeared in place. The four of them shot in an instant, and the battle broke out. Chapter 184 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Hanxing looked calm. The whole person was submerged into the sea of thunder. My mind moved. The surrounding thunder sea was surging. A black and white thunder dragon suddenly burst out from the thunder sea. His whole body flashed with thunder, and the violent energy on his body made Yuan Fei Hiruzen and others palpitated. The black and white thunder dragon opened his mouth and spit. The thunder light in his mouth was dazzling, like a pearl. The black and white thunder is like a laser, spewing out from the thunder dragon's mouth, rushing towards the fire dragon not far away. Puff! The fire dragon was in front of the thunderlight, without a trace of obstruction, like a piece of paper. It was cut into two pieces by it, and its remaining power was not diminished, and it attacked Jiraiya and Mitokado Homura behind. What? X2 The two of them were shocked and jumped, avoiding the attack range of the lightning laser. At the moment when the three of them fought, Yuan Fei Hiruzen's attack with the Optimus Pillar had already reached Hanxing. But Hanxing's whole body has entered the thunderfield, and the energy carried by every lightning bolt in the thunder sea makes Yuan Fei Hiruzen's scalp tingle. As a last resort, I had to turn the attack to the thunder dragon, and smashed it savagely with the tremendous force on the golden hoop. It's a pity that Yuan Fei's Hiruzen wish was very good, but it was cruel at first. At the moment when his golden hoop rod and thunder dragon came into contact, the ultra-high current on the thunder dragon instantly spread towards the golden hoop rod. Bang! The white fog is in the air. In Yuan Fei Hiruzen's surprise, the golden cudgel made by the ape demon in his hand disappeared instantly and returned to his own space. What's the situation? How did the ape demon go back? Before he could think about it, a dazzling figure suddenly appeared above his head. Advertisement, could it be it? That thunderbolt? Yuan Fei Hiruzen's thoughts moved, and he jumped to avoid the thunder dragon's attack, and then retreated, standing on the same front as the J-Lai and others. A unique kunai came from the sky and appeared above the thunder dragon. Whoosh! Namikaze Minato suddenly appeared with Rasengan in his hand, and pressed hard on the top of the thunder dragon. Originally, his attack was to attack Hanxing, but Hanxing did not enter the Sea of Thunder. When you enter the Sea of Thunder, the thunder and lightning that makes your scalp numb is Hanxing's natural barrier. I am afraid that once his flying thunder god enters, he will be swallowed by the surrounding thunder sea before he attacks. Namikaze Minato also smiled bitterly in his heart. In this way, the space ninjutsu he was proud of would not be of any use to Hanxing. I had to turn around, pick up kunai, cast flying thunder god, and attack the thunder dragon not far away. Rasengan has now been developed by Namikaze Minato. At most, it is a level ninjutsu. Hanxing's thunder dragon starts at least with S-level ninjutsu. Boom! At the moment when the two collided, a huge force came from the thunder dragon, and Namikaze Minato's injured Rasengan was shattered without any resistance. Yu Wei did not diminish. Just at the moment when the thunder dragon's dragon head bombarded Namikaze Minato, a piece of long white hair turned into a long white whip, which instantly rolled up Namikaze Minato and pulled it back. This is Jiraiya shot. Sorry, Teacher Jiraiya. I didn't help. Being pulled back by Jiraiya, Master Namikaze gave a wry smile. I can't blame you. With a sea of thunder around, Senju Han is invincible by nature. If we want to defeat Senju Han, we must find a way to solve this sea of thunder. Jiraiya's face was solemn at first, and then, a little frustrated. The problem is, the whole Konoha is all a sea of thunder, and they themselves are surrounded by a sea of thunder. How to solve it? There is no solution at all. If she could run away, Jiraiya would definitely turn around and run, and she would die if she had nothing to do. But the problem in front of her was that she couldn't run even if she ran, she could only fight to the death. You can only use that trick, Jiraiya gritted her teeth and secretly said. Minato. Use the summoning technique, for now. Let's hope they have some use, Jiraiya said to Minato. Advertisement, got it. Teacher Jiraiya. After the two finished speaking, they bit their fingers at the same time and began to seal. Summoning technique. X2 boom. Amidst the smoke, two huge figures appeared in front of everyone. One was wearing clothes, smoking a cigarette, and carrying a large knife around his waist. A purple-red skin, holding a Y-shaped iron and steel fork and shield, with a simple and honest look. These two toads are the second of the three Toad brothers of Mount Myoboku, Toad Bunta and Toad Ken. Seeing the appearance of these two toads, Jiraiya's master and apprentice gained a little more confidence. "Jiraiya, what's the matter with you asking me to come out?" Toad Wenta let out a big puff of smoke, with a bit of rebelliousness in his tone. "Well, Wentai, there's no way out. If you don't come out, I think we'll all be finished," Jiraiya said helplessly. "Huh? Where is this?" Toad Wentai was stunned for a moment, then swept the surroundings and found that it was full of black and white lightning. The power of these lightning bolts terrified his pores, and a great danger bred from the depths of his heart. "Jiraiya, where did you provoke such a strong person?" Toad Wenta roared with a livid face. "This is Konoha, and the enemy is that person." Jiraiya's face turned serious now. "What's going on? How did Konoha become this Konoha? You are the only ones left. What about the others? Are all dead?" "No? Who are those people on the opposite side?" Toad Bunta kept asking questions. "This matter is a bit complicated. In short, Wentai, I'll leave it to you this time." "Humph. If it wasn't for the sake of your good boy, I would have left long ago." "Mita, prepare the oil," Jiraiya said solemnly. "Advertisement." "Got it," Toad Wenta said, jumping deeply, his mouth swelled. At the same time, Jiraiya formed a seal on both hands, chakra surged rapidly on his body, and shouted, "Fire-style Toad Oil Bomb." Fire style and toad oil are fused, and the power of the two is multiplied. The huge flame cannonballs turned into waves of flames, with scorching high temperature. Wherever they passed, the ground was blackened and rushed towards Hanxing. Boom! Yuan Fei Hiruzen summoned 4 clones. 5 people at the same time quickly knot with both hands. Lips are puffed up, and they spit out different ninjutsu of the 5 attributes. Yuan Fei Hiruzen shouted loudly, 5 escapes Dalian playing technique. With Yuan Fei Hiruzen's voice falling, 5 ninjutsu attacks from different angles began to combine in an instant, turning into a 5-attribute ninjutsu torrent, rushing towards Hanxing. 5 escape Dalian Dan technique is Yuan Fei Hiruzen's strongest ninjutsu attack. Fire-style Fire Dragon Fire Bullet. On this side, Mitokado Homura didn't dare to show weakness. Huge fireballs, like cannonballs, shot towards Hanxing. Toad Ken-sama. Please. Namikaze Minato smiled softly. Although I'm clumsy, Toad Jien said a mantra, and he took a deep leap and ran towards Hanxing with the Crest Master Gate. A second wave of attacks from the 4 followed. Chapter 185 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. If you only have this kind of ability, then this battle can be over. Just use you to try my new ninjutsu. After Hanxing finished speaking lightly, his mind moved, and the surrounding thunder and lightning rushed towards Hanxing like a raging wave instantly. Spiritual energy came out through the body, turned into invisible raindrops, and quickly merged with these thunderbolts. In the blink of an eye, the originally black and white thunderbolts instantly turned into pitch black, terrifying world-destroying black thunders. With a wave of his hand, rapid surges gathered in the pitch-black sea of thunder. After a while, the 4 heads were huge, and the thunderbeast stepped out from the black sea of thunder. A body like a long snake, covered with dense scales, an elder with 2 long whiskers around its mouth, fluttering in the wind in midair, 2 antlers on its head, and 5 sharp claws all over its body. A body like a big bird, with 2 sharp claws, a beak like a chicken beak, 2 long feathers on top of its head, swaying in the wind, its whole body burning with dark fireworks. A tortoise-backed snake's head, like a mountain, is as immobile as a mountain, but from the flickering cold light in its eyes, it is not as simple as it seems. A head with the word king, the body is like a cat, strong limbs stand on the ground, when the tail is flapping, cracks on the ground appear out of thin air, and a king's air blows in the face. These 4 are exactly what Hanxing condensed with thunder and lightning according to the 4 beasts of the previous life. In the forest in the distance, The patriarchs of the Konoha clans who left from Hanxing looked at everything that happened in front of them. While they were shocked, they were more fortunate. They didn't expect Han to have such a powerful move. They knew he was strong, but they didn't expect it to be so strong. Even if they were so far apart, they could smell the strong smell of death from the fierce beasts condensed by lightning. Advertisement, Lu Ju. The third Hokage and the others are probably bad luck. What should we do now? Akamichi Dingza asked. The other patriarchs also looked at Lu Ju. Lu Ju's strength may not be the strongest among them, but his brain is definitely number one. Although Konoha was made like this by Senju Han, you can tell from his tone that Konoha also died of Yuan Fei's 4 clansmen. Other clansmen, civilians, have nothing to do, that is to say, Konoha's current heritage is still there, exist. With the abilities of these families, after Senju Han, Yuan Fei, Hiruzen and others are finished fighting, it is still possible to rebuild Konoha. The only problem is the selection of Hokage. Now Konoha is the strongest Kage-level powerhouse as Tsunade, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato half. Tsunade leaves Konoha, Orochimaru is on the front line, Jiraiya joins forces with Namikaze Minato, Yuan Fei Hiruzen and others to fight against Senju Han. They're the worst. The only candidate left is Orochimaru. Thinking of this, Nara Shikahisa had a headache, so she had to tell Orochimaru. Without him, if Konoha has gone through this battle, the Kage-level powerhouse will lose at least 2, and their Konoha's Kage-level powerhouse will be left with Orochimaru in addition to Tsunade who left. After hearing Lu Ju's words, the other patriarchs fell silent, considering the gain and loss. Actually, there is another way to choose. In the silence of everyone, Lu Ju spoke again. That's to get Mr. Tsunade back and stop Senju Han from seeking revenge for Konoha. But, now we don't even know where Mr. Tsunade is. Even if we can find it, it's probably over there. Why don't you try it? Let's look at the borders of the Fire Country now. If Tsunade-sama finds out, she will definitely come back with her feelings for the village. Yamanaka Kaiichi suggested. That's fine, just look around. If you can find it, it's fine. If you can't find it, forget it. Nara Shikuji shook his head. Dingzo's proposal is not a solution. Lu Ju and others are also taking a fluke, hoping that Tsunade is not far away, but this fluke is very small. Advertisement. Just as Lu Ju and the others were talking, the battle in the distance began again, and everyone was once again attracted by the battle in the distance. On the field, with Hanxing condensing the 4 elephants and beasts, Yuan Fei, Hiruzen and others' faces were ugly again. Roar. Chirp. The 4 giant beasts screamed in the sky, and the black lightning was burning on their bodies, as if they had come out of hell. Go. Hanxing murmured. The 4 thunder giants rushed towards their respective enemies in an instant. First of all, Mitokado Homura was targeted by Xuanwu, and fireballs with hot flames spewed out of Mitokado Homura's mouth. The black basalt flew into the air, the 4 retracted tortoise shells, the black tortoise shells stood up, spun rapidly, turned into a black lightning vortex, and devoured all the flaming cannonballs from the kettles. Suzaku confronted Yuan Fei Hiruzen. It took a big mouth, and the rich black thunder and lightning gathered in its mouth. Then it spit out the 5 escape ninjutsu in the distance. A black thunderbolt with a thick wrist instantly spewed out of Suzaku's mouth and blasted towards the 5 done ninjutsu in the distance. Boom! Without any hesitation, the black thunder and lightning smashed the 5 done ninjutsu away in just a moment, and the remaining power slammed towards Yuan Fei Hiruzen. Black Dragon and Black Tiger correspond to Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato respectively. Jiraiya's toad oil bomb was swallowed directly by the Black Dragon. Advertisement. Black Tiger is fighting with Namikaze Minato. The battle of the few people was completely suppressed by Hanxing's 4 thunder and lightning beasts, and they did not dare to fight in close quarters. They can only use ninjutsu to output remotely, because they know that once they are in close combat, if they are hit by the opponent, they may be swallowed by the thunder and lightning above. The battle of several people and several beasts at a time can be said to be dazzling, and the ground is shaking. In the area controlled by Hanxing, it has completely collapsed into a huge pothole, and the area is still expanding. Wind-style vacuum Taiyu. Suddenly, a roar came from Hanxing's midair. A huge compressed wind ball, like a fired cannonball, blasted towards Hanxing with a strong wind sound. Hanxing narrowed his eyes. I can't stand it anymore. I thought you could endure it. While speaking, the black thunderbolt turned into a giant hand that held the compressed airball in midair. Boom! The terrifying compressed wind ball exploded at the moment of collision with the giant thunder. The rich wind attribute chakra turns into a sharp and unusually compressed wind blade, cutting the black thunder giant hand. It's a pity that the black giant hand is like an indestructible scorpion. After it erupts, it only leaves a scar on the black giant hand. This scar will instantly return to its original state with the replenishment of lightning. Hanxing's figure flashed, and the whole person suddenly disappeared from the sea of thunder, turning into a black streamer and rushing towards Danzo in midair. Chapter 186 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Danzo was not in a hurry, with a hint of gloom on his face. His hands quickly knotted, his chest bulged high, and the rich chakra gathered in his mouth, shouting loudly. Wind-style vacuum continuous wave. One after another giant sickle weasel, with gusts of wind, attacked in midair Hanxing. These ferrets not only have a huge cutting power of wind attribute, but also cut chakra. Your lightning style is useless in front of him. Danzo sneered in the air. Did no one tell you? When the strength reaches a certain level, all intrigues are decorations, and the same is true for my lightning style. Hanxing's face was flat. Behind him, a pair of black thunder spears quietly emerged, pulled the bowstring of the full moon, turned into a series of sharp arrows, and blasted away at the giant sickle weasel above. Buzzing. The black spear carried violent energy and huge impact, and suddenly bombarded with the huge sickle Itachi in midair. The void shook for a while, and a powerful hurricane erupted from above. The countless small wind-type chakras in the hurricane were like thin needles, piercing the inside of the black spear. Of course. The black long spear is extremely hard, and it ignores the harassment of the hurricane at all. It carries the monstrous power and directly pierces the Kama Itachi in front of him. The remaining power is not diminished, and it rushes towards Danzo. Pierced by the black spear, the giant scythes turned into the most primitive wind attribute chakra, like a large hurricane, raging in the air. That's it. Danzo, he really didn't die. Yuan Fei Hiruzen dodged the thunderbolt attack of Thunderbolt Xuanwu, with a hint of joy in his eyes. But after seeing that Hanxing left from the Sea of Thunder, the excitement in his eyes was even greater. Advertisement as a country of Hokage, it knows the truth of capturing the thief first and capturing the king. As long as Hanxing is defeated, the 4 thunder beasts in front of him will be destroyed without attacking. After leaving a shadow clone entangled with this thunder behemoth, the shattered ground collapsed when he stepped on it. With this huge bombardment, Yuan Fei Hiruzen rose into the sky. At this moment, not only Yuan Fei Hiruzen thought so, but also Jiraiya Namikaze Minato. After shedding 2 severely injured toads, they jumped up. Namikaze Minato is simple. Take out the characteristic damn it and throw it directly in the direction of Hanxing. Whizzing. The 2 disappeared in an instant. Jiraiya of damn it. You must look good when you go back this time. Toad Wentai roared with a burning smell in his forehand. The same is true of Toad Jien. It is no better than Wentai, and even his whole body is a little scorched black. I am afraid that if he is touched by the black tiger on the opposite side, he will return to Mount Myoboku. Compared with Jiraiya and the others, Mitokado Homura is much more miserable, with one arm dangling weakly, and can only barely dodge Suzaku's attack. The whole person can't take care of himself, and it won't be long before he will be defeated. In midair, Hanxing stepped on the air with his feet, and behind him was a dense array of thunder spears, which appeared in front of Danzo in the blink of an eye. Whoosh! A sharp kunai appeared behind Hanxing, the white mist flashed. Namikaze Minato held the Rasengan in both hands and pressed down against Hanxing's back. If this hits, Hanxing will be seriously injured if he doesn't die. Hanxing was not in a hurry, as if he had eyes behind him. His body slightly dodged Namikaze Minato's attack, and the other hand turned into an afterimage. When Namikaze Minato didn't respond, a punch hit him Namikaze Minato's belly. Boom! Puff! The punch was a random blow for Hanxing, and it hit Namikaze Minato no less than an exploding shell. Namikaze Minato felt a piercing pain in his abdomen, a mouthful of blood sprayed out unconsciously, and the whole person was hit by this huge force, falling into the distance like a meteor. Advertisement, Minato! Jiraiya yelled worriedly. The hands quickly formed the seal, and the mouth shouted, "Fire-style fire dragon flame bullet." While speaking, huge spherical flames, with a scorched yellow smell, turned into cannonballs and blasted towards Hanxing. Hanxing stretched out his index finger, the rich chakra gathered on it, the wind attribute chakra merged in, and the spiral shuriken was completed in an instant, and it was a flick of the flaming cannonball not far away. Then ignore Jiraiya and continue running towards Danzo. Boom! A huge roar sounded from behind. Apparently it was the spiral shuriken and the incoming flame cannonball collided. Suddenly, Hanxing's brows wrinkled, his palms were vacantly grasped, and black lightning quickly condensed in his hands. Swipe down. Sharp black thousands of books, like a rain of arrows, crashed downwards. The direction of falling is exactly the area where Yuan Fei Hiruzen is located. Looking at the dense rain of black arrows above, Yuan Fei Hiruzen's pupils shrank. Damn. As a last resort, move your body laterally to avoid the attack range of the arrow rain. However, before he could think about it, a chakra ball with the wind attribute appeared in his sight. This is Minato's Rasengan, or the one with attributes. I didn't expect it to be completed by him. Yuan Fei Hiruzen said with a livid face, and his figure dodged Hanxing's Rasengan. Boom! A huge roar sounded below, but at this time, no one paid attention, and everyone's eyes were directed upwards, the direction of Hanxing. Advertisement Jiraiya was blocked by Hanxing's Rasengan shuriken. Yuan Fei's Hiruzen was successfully blocked after a series of attacks from Hanxing just now, and Namikaze Minato was punched down by Hanxing. In mid-air, Hanxing and Danzo are getting closer. Damn it! Do you really think this old man is easy to bully? Shimura Danzo yelled. Danzo's chest bulged high, wind-style vacuum Daiyu. Boom! The huge high-pressure wind ball is like a cannonball with gusts of wind, surging towards Hanxing. Hanxing's face was expressionless, and just as the big vacuum jade approached Hanxing, Hanxing's figure suddenly disappeared in place. What? Danzo was shocked. In midair, why hasn't his speed diminished in the slightest? Go down. Suddenly, a cold voice appeared behind Danzo. Danzo's hair stood on end. He naturally knew who this person's voice was. Before he could move, a huge force came from behind, accompanied by a spiral-like colic. Whoosh! Like a shooting star, Danzo is once again following in the footsteps of Namikaze Minato. Boom! A huge roar sounded, accompanied by a flurry of dust. Hanxing swept away Yuan Fei, Hiruzen and Jiraiya, and murmured, "It's over." When the words fell, the whole person turned into a black streamer and disappeared in midair. Below, Mitokado Homura was struggling to resist, the thunderbeast in front of him. Suddenly, there was a piercing pain behind him, and then, a violent force erupted from it, and the whole person involuntarily fell towards the bottom. Chapter 187 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Boom! The sound like an explosion of a cannonball sounded, and the ground collapsed immediately. The dust filled the air, and the lingering power was unabated. Mitokado Homura's body blazed forward. Then plow out a long drag mark on the ground. The direction that Mitokado Homura flew towards was the location of Shikaku and other clan chiefs. In the woods outside Konoha village, Lu Ju waited for the patriarchs of the major families, and looked at Minato and Danzo, who were already unconscious, with silence in their eyes. Looks like it's over. Narulukisa was silent for a while, and he still had a doubt in his heart, since it was the revenge of the genocide, why didn't he kill Danzo and others? Of course, he did not dare to say these words. After all, everyone is from Konoha, although the means are a bit radical. Radical. Just as he was thinking about it, there was a figure of a man walking towards here like a plow. Another one. This time it is estimated to be Lord Mitokado Homura, a patriarch behind him whispered. Everyone just lifted up Mitokado Homura and the others and placed them next to Danzo and the others. Before they could relax, another figure came over. Yes. Everyone knows it's Utatane Kaharu by looking at the back of his clothes. There are 4 people in a row, except for Namikaze Minato, who has been treated. The other 3 have no treatment, or dare not treat. Senju Han's intention is obviously to destroy the lives of the high-level Hokage clan. This is by name. It's okay to save Namikaze Minato. If you save these 3 people, what will happen to your own clan? While everyone was thinking about it, Hanxing's figure disappeared again in the battlefield. Advertisement: 2 big ball Rasengans directly beat Toad Wentai and Toad Jien back to Mount Myoboku. After seeing Hanxing's sudden attack, the 2 Toads, who were already seriously injured, didn't even have a chance to dodge. After removing the 2 Toads, only Yuan Fei Hiruzen's master and apprentice are left on the battlefield. The 2 masters and apprentices landed on the ground, looked at each other, their eyes were extremely solemn, and their hearts sank to the bottom of the valley. Hanxing didn't talk nonsense, stretched out his hand and waved forward, and the 4 Thunder Giants rushed towards Jiraiya and the 2 frantically. The ground shakes while walking, like a monster resurrected from ancient times. It was already very difficult to deal with 1, but now dealing with 2, it is even worse for the 2, and there is a coveted Senju Han next to him. Coupled with a series of battles, whether it is physical strength, energy, or chakra, has a lot of consumption. The 2 knew that in the end, they would definitely lose. Yuan Fei Hiruzen regrets it now, knowing that the Senju family has such a strong man. He will never let Danzo touch the last son of the Senju family. Now, it's too late to say anything. Boom! Suddenly, a roar sounded in the distance. Yuan Fei Hiruzen looked up and found that Jiraiya's figure had disappeared in place. At the place where Jiraiya was, Hanxing looked at him flatly. Did Jiraiya also lose? Yuan Fei Hiruzen muttered. It seems that I can only use that trick, Yuan Fei Hiruzen thought to himself. Why do you want to seal it with a ghoul? Hanxing sneered. Advertisement. You. How do you know? Yuan Fei Hiruzen said subconsciously. Haha. Do you think you can catch me surrounded by these 4 thunderbeasts at your speed? Or are you so confident that your speed can be faster than me? Hanxing sneered. Yuan Fei Hiruzen was silent for a while. Hanxing's speed, he really couldn't match. He originally wanted to make a surprise attack, but he didn't expect that the other party knew about the forbidden technique that the ghouls were sealed off, which made his plans instantly vanish. Don't worry. Just when Hanxing was about to speak, a huge roar, carrying a large amount of chakra, turned into a sound wave towards Hanxing, not the whole Konoha rolling in. Han. Stop the old lady. Otherwise, the old lady will never forgive you. Cold. This sound is from far to near, and it is obviously coming here quickly. Hanxing frowned. How did this brainless thing come? This voice is none other than Tsunade. How unlucky. Hearing this voice, whether it was Yuan Fei Hiruzen or the patriarchs of the major clans outside the Konoha forest, their faces suddenly showed a hint of joy. Quick. Quick. It's Tsunade-sama here. Let's go meet him. Konoha is saved, Nara Shikaku said excitedly. As he spoke, he led the tribe towards Tsunade's direction. Of course. Before they could move, a roar accompanied by the sound of the earth shaking rang in their ears. I saw that in order to hurry, Tsunade directly smashed the big tree in front of him into pieces with one punch, and after walking for a while, he would slam a punch, like a prehistoric Tyrannosaurus, where no grass grows. It didn't take long for Tsunade's figure to appear in everyone's field of vision. At this time, Tsunade was a little embarrassed, panting all over his body, and the 100 healings mark on his forehead had disappeared. Obviously he had come a long way. Advertisement. Sir Tsunade, you are finally here. Shikuku and the others greeted him. Huh? Shikaku. You are not dead. What's the situation? Tsunade frowned, looking at the familiar figures in front of him. A black line suddenly appeared on the foreheads of Lu Ju and the others, and they said they were dead when they met. But they know Tsunade's temper. They couldn't afford it before, and now with Han, it's even more unbearable. Lu Ju smiled bitterly. Lord Tsunade, we're fine. Lord Han just came to destroy the 4 high-level clans in power of 3rd Hokage, and didn't do anything to us. Tsunade let out a sigh of relief, glanced at the four comatose figures and Jiraiya, and said with a smile, "Jiraiya, I didn't expect you to have this time. You better stop talking nonsense, and hurry up and save Mr. Yuan Fei. It is estimated that the entire ninja world will listen to you." Jiraiya paled and said weakly. "Got it," Tsunade said heavily. She knew now was not the time to be joking. After speaking, the whole person disappeared in place. As soon as she walked to the door of Konoha, she saw a scene that shocked her. The entire Konoha was wrapped in dense thunder and lightning. Except for the familiar Hokage rock in the distance, everything else is thunder. It was the thunder that made her heart skip a beat. Every one of them could make her linger in fear. "How did you make Konoha like this? Who asked you to come to Konoha to destroy it?" Tsunade walked up to Hanxing and yelled angrily. "Isn't this closed for too long, idle and bored? Come out to exercise," Hanxing said indifferently. "That's why you destroyed Konoha?" Tsunade's face turned blue with anger. "How can it be called destroying Konoha? Just tell them what the consequences of destroying the Senju clan will be." Hanxing shook his head, then frowned. "Why are you here? Are you not in a town near the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex?" Chapter 188 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. "What do you say? I was betting well there, but suddenly the gambler was possessed and started to win a lot of money. I'll go back to the Vortex Country ruins to find you, and find the note you left behind. After that, I've been running from the Vortex Country to Konoha. I'm really exhausted." Tsunade's pretty face was full of complaints. Color. "Mr. Yuan Fei, are you okay?" After talking to Hanxing, Tsunade asked Yuan Fei Hiruzen again. "I'm fine. It's just that Konoha has been completely destroyed by him," Yuan Fei Hiruzen said with an ugly face. "Since my Senju clan can create Konoha, naturally I can also destroy Konoha," Hanxing said flatly. "Don't talk about those useless things. There are two paths in front of you now. One is that I personally take action and destroy all Yuan Fei, Shimura, Shuon, Mito and other people including you, left. One is that I killed all the ninjas in your four families, including children. Choose one of these two. As your credit for being Hokage all these years, I will not move your bloodline." "Impossible. The old man will never let you touch them," Yuan Fei Hiruzen shouted, looking at Tsunade. "Lu Ju. All of you come here and bring Danzo and others along." Hanxing ignored Yuan Fei Hiruzen's words and shouted in the distance. "Cold. Enough. That's it. Konoha has been destroyed by you. Stop it," Tsunade roared. Hanxing turned his head, swept away Lu Ju and others not far away, and said, "Tell Danzo them, my conditions have been opened. I give them an hour, and after an hour, their choice is only the first." After speaking, the figure disappeared in a flash, and at the same time a faint voice echoed in everyone's ears. "The Senju clan will have to pay a price. This price has already been given to you. It will see if you can bear it. An hour see you later." "Bastard. Stop for my mother. Come out for my mother," Tsunade roared beside him. "Stop shouting. It's for the sake of looking at you, otherwise, they won't have a choice at all." The faint voice echoed in Tsunade's ears again. "Advertisement. You bastard. Come out to my mother. This kind of condition is impossible to agree to." Tsunade just finished shouting. Hanxing's voice suddenly appeared behind Tsunade, and a hand knife knocked Tsunade unconscious. "You talk too much." After speaking, he picked up Tsunade and disappeared in the eyes of everyone. "Remember, Yuan Fei, you only have 1 hour. After 1 hour, don't blame me." Lord Third Hokage. Lu Ju and other senior officials walked towards Yuan Fei Hiruzen, apologizing slightly. "Hey. Needless to say, Lu Ju, I understand your hardships. Go and rescue Danzo and the others." Yuan Fei Hiruzen waved his hand, his face a lot haggard. After a while, Danzo and the others began to gradually wake up in the presence of some medical ninjas. Yuan Fei Hiruzen didn't have any unnecessary nonsense, and directly informed the three Danzo of the conditions proposed by Hanxing. After the three listened, their originally angry expressions instantly froze. They are a little regretful. Why did they secretly destroy the Senju family, and now the retribution is on their own family's head? There is no need to choose between these two options. After an hour, Hanxing appeared in front of the four with a dull expression, What is your choice? Let's choose the second one, Yuan Fei Hiruzen said with a gloomy expression, and when he finished speaking, he was much older. An hour later, Hanxing finished destroying all the ninjas of the 4 clans, and then glanced at Yuan Fei's 4 clansmen. I hope you don't lie to me. Advertisement. After the words fell, with a wave of his right hand, the thunder field behind him disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a blackened, scorching hot earth. Hanxing carried Tsunade and flew into the sky with one footstep until he disappeared in the eyes of everyone. 3 days later, Hanxing made a riot in Konoha, forcing Yuan Fei, Hiruzen and other high-level extermination of all ninjas in the clan to spread throughout the ninja world in an instant. The entire ninja world instantly became buzzing, and even the turmoil of the Third World War was a little stagnant for this reason. The senior management of the 4 major ninja villages, including Mist Ninja Village, Cloud Shinobi Village, Rock Shinobi Village, Sand Shinobi Village, etc., after hearing this news, all turned their attention to the Land of Fire. The reason why the Country of Fire can become the first of the 5 countries is not because of its superior geographical location and suitable living environment. Now, the Country of Fire has been hit hard by Hanxing, and it is also the period of the Third World War. As the shadow of a country, isn't this a good time for them? Just when the Kage-level powerhouses of various countries were gearing up for their efforts, Hanxing brought Tsunade back to the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex. What he didn't expect was that when Tsunade woke up, he seemed to have forgotten what happened yesterday, and after asking Hanxing for some more money, he went to the nearby town to make big bets again. This may be Tsunade's way of venting. After the matter of the Fire Nation, Hanxing Ishin started to fuse Yin Dun and Thunder Bloodline together. Deep in the dark underground, unknown candles flicker back and forth. A white figure, with a human head showing on the ground, told something in detail. Advertisement above, the old man with a face like dead wood, his complexion remained unchanged, but his deep eyes flashed an undetectable light from time to time. Madara-sama. The above is all that happened in the ninja world. So, Konoha is now in ruins. Uchiha Madara's bland opening. Yes. Except for Yuan Fei's 4 people who died, everything else is fine. White Zetsu nodded. Senju Clan. Senju Clan. Another amazing character. Uchiha Madara's eyes were deep, as if seeing through time and space, and saw the scene where he and Senju Hashirama opened up Konoha together. Lord Madara. What should we do? White Zetsu asked aloud. Just wait, if he's causing something, I'll do it myself, and we mustn't let him disrupt our plan. Uchiha said this with a look of contempt in his eyes, full of confidence. After a pause, he continued, remember to pay attention to that guy named Senju Han these days. If he is causing trouble, just let me know. Understood. After White Zetsu finished speaking, the figure slowly disappeared into the ground. Uchiha Madara was left alone again in the dark and damp space. His eyes are empty and deep, and he doesn't know what he is thinking. Senju Han. Hashirama. I didn't expect your Senju clan to be wiped out, and such a strong person can appear. For a long time, Uchiha Madara's voice like envy and admiration came from the dark space. Chapter 189 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. The crescent moon hangs and the stars twinkle, forming a beautiful picture in the night sky. Vortex Kingdom ruins. It's still that secret place. Hanxing sat cross-legged, his silver teeth clenched, his face was pale, and he seemed to be suffering from some kind of pain. In mind. Hanxing's spirit body hangs in the void, the lightning flashes on it, tempering his soul. The whole spirit body seems to be bathed in a layer of lightning gauze. If there is a careful person, you will find that when the thunder and lightning are diffused, there will be a trace of impurities quietly flowing out of your mind. An hour, 2 hours, 7 hours later, the lightning on the spirit body gradually disappeared, revealing a solid, flawless spirit body. Hanxing opened his eyes and exhaled a long breath. It has been 3 months since the Konoha incident. In these 3 months, Hanxing has improved a lot. First of all, Yin Escape and Thunder Bloodline are fully mastered by heart, and have achieved and wanted Bloodline like instant casting. Secondly, after these 3 months plus the time in the training space, Hanxing's spiritual body has completely adapted to the mode of Raiden Chakra's soul training. After 3 months of tempering, the original essence of the spirit body has been tempered by him by more than half. Not only that, his spirit body is extremely solid, flawless, and even the perception range has been doubled again. Now Hanxing's perception energy can be said to be the #1 in the ninja world. In the process of tempering his spiritual body, Hanxing found that the warning from the 8th gate in his heart is gradually weakening. This makes him ecstatic, and shows that he is developing in the right direction. Advertisement to this day, after he finished his training, the warning in his heart has disappeared, which means that he can try to open the 8th gate. The 8th gate is located in the downtown area. Like the 7th gate, Hanxing cannot break open with brute force, but can only drip water through the stone and grind it with water. The 8th gate is also the location of the first gate of the original 8 inner gates. When opening the door, it lifts the limits of the human body, but I don't know what the difference is after the improvement. If the 7th gate is still an iron and wooden mortal gate, then the 8th gate belongs to a gate of immortality, the gate of ascending immortals. The jade pillars on both sides are towering in the sky, and one is made of glazed immortal gold. An electric drill that forms thunder and lightning, and started a hard day's work. As soon as he got in, Hanxing felt a pain in his mind. This pain was within the range of Hanxing's tolerance. After an hour, Hanxing's soul reached its limit and stopped. Afterwards, 500 shadow clones were allocated to comprehend, and he wanted these people to comprehend the Yangdan within the body, whether it was still or moving. Now that he has mastered the yin escape, and he has awakened the sage body again, there will definitely be a yang escape in his body, but it is just like the previous yin escape, and there is no way to control it. Time is like running water. A month passed quietly in the blink of an eye. This month he lived a very fulfilling life, and his clone was looking for a way to control Yangdan in his body. The main body is to temper the soul in the mind and bombard the 8th gate. On the sea not far from the ruins of the country of the vortex. A pretty girl, with a pale face and broken clothes, with a trace of bloodline on her wonderful figure. Advertisement behind him. 3 Anbu with Mist Ninja outdoors followed closely behind. Terumi Mei, don't run away. You can't escape our palms if you run away. Blame it. You are so talented. Anbu, a Mist Ninja, sneered. It's fine if you have a good talent. The key is that your family has always been at odds with 4th Mizukage. When you grow up, it will greatly affect 4th Mizukage's rule over Mizukage village. Another Anbu also followed. That's what happened in Miston village. Even a genius can't be moved. Terumi Mei snorted coldly and said disdainfully. Of course we can accommodate geniuses. The key is that when you grow up, you will not be used by Lord 4th Mizukage, or even become enemies. Naturally, this kind of genius must be strangled to the cradle as soon as possible. No, she's going to the country of the vortex. Hurry up and catch them. You mustn't let him succeed. At this moment, Anbu, the only one who didn't speak, suddenly spoke, with a hint of urgency in his voice. Since the Konoha incident spread throughout the ninja world, everyone knows that there is another Senju Hashirama in the destroyed Senju clan, and they also know that his current station is near the ruins of the country of vortex. The purpose is to prevent others from disturbing his purity, and the 5 major countries have also tacitly acknowledged his existence and designated the country of vortex as his territory. This is also the reason why the ninja world is surging, and Hanxing has nothing to do here. A smile appeared on the corner of Terumi Mei's mouth and said, I just found out now. It's too late, stupid. After speaking, he twisted his body back and shouted, Boyle-style Chow Wu technique. The pretty face bulged high and spit in front of him. A large amount of mist spewed out of the mouth, and the surrounding sea was completely shrouded in mist for a while, like a fairyland on earth. However, this fog is not that fog. This mist is a boil style of one of Terumi Mei's bloodline limits. Like the mist produced after boiling water, the temperature on it is extremely high, and ordinary people will be quickly melted if they touch it a little. Advertisement in the original, Terumi Mei used this blood follower to quickly melt Sasuke's Suzano. It's even better than her other blood follower, lava style. Not good. Get out of the way. Seeing Terumi Mei using boil style, Captain Anbu, headed by him, shouted. After the three of them left the boiling mist, their hands quickly formed a seal, and the chakra surging on their bodies shouted, "Water-style water rush." At this time, it is the time of the sea, and water-style ninjutsu has a natural bonus here. As soon as the three of them finished speaking, the calm sea was suddenly choppy, and a huge wave rose out of thin air, covering the sky and covering the earth, directly swallowing up the boiling fog in front of you. Of course, after they had done all of this, their eyes blurred and they could only see a black spot that was getting smaller and smaller. The three of them looked at each other. What to do with the captain? Terumi Mei is afraid that he ran to the ruins of the country of the vortex. You stay far away from the country of the vortex, and watch over there. I will look for Lord Fourth Mizukage and see what orders he has, Captain Mist Ninja pondered. Got it. X2. At this time, Terumi Mei came out of the sea panting, her face full of exhaustion. Finally saved. I just don't know if the grown-up will blame him. Terumi Mei sat on the shore, carefully looking ahead, a blur of ruins. Not long after, there was a sound of running on the distant shore. Terumi Mei turned her head, and found that Anbu, who was chasing her, was running towards her. With his eyes fixed, Terumi Mei got up and walked forward, where Hanxing was located at the ruins of the land of Vortex. Chapter 190 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. When the two Anbu saw Terumi Mei's move, they looked at each other and stayed on the shore, not daring to move forward. After all, there are too many versions of Senju Han in the ninja world, and that kind of person, let alone them, even Mizukage-sama would not dare to offend him. In the Vortex Kingdom ruins, Hanxing frowned, feeling the sudden appearance of three uninvited guests. His eyes flashed with surprise. Now the entire ninja world knows that he doesn't like fighting. The country of Vortex is his territory, and there are still people in the country of Vortex. Looking at the direction they were coming from, Hanxing thought to himself, Mistobu. It seems to be chasing him. It's really interesting. It seems that every country has a dark side. It's just that, after a long retreat, let's see who came to the country of Vortex for refuge. With a murmur, the next moment, Hanxing's figure silently disappeared in place. I really hope Senju-sama won't drive me away, or I'll have to run towards the country on fire. Terumi Mei said secretly. It's her. In a dark corner, Hanxing looked at the embarrassed girl who appeared around the ruins. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Emerald green eyes, brown long curly hair, a long blue dress with shui broken, and a trace of bloodline on his body. Future 5th Hokage, Terumi Mei, Hanxing murmured. You should know that the territory of the country of Vortex is now my territory and I am a person who likes quietness. Are the mist ninjas outside looking for you? Hanxing appeared in front of Terumi Mei and spoke calmly. Cold. Lord Han. I was forced to do so. The 4th Mizukage, the land of water, disliked my talent, so I sent someone to assassinate me. I had no choice but to come to you for help in order to save my life. Terumi Mei, he stammered and said with a pale face. Advertisement gum. At this moment, a hungry cry came from Terumi Mei. Embarrassed, she forgot to be nervous for a while, her face flushed, and she wanted to find a gap to drill through. You look like you haven't eaten yet, come with me. Hanxing said, and brought Terumi Mei to his daily diet. Looking at the browned and fragrant roast suckling pig in front of him, Terumi Mei secretly swallowed. Hanxing tore off a large piece of pork leg and handed it to Terumi Mei. Eat it. Thank you, Lord Han. Terumi Mei took it, and with a thank you, she immediately devoured it. She didn't look like a lady at all, and she was obviously very hungry. An hour later, Terumi Mei patted her belly, which didn't appear to be fat, and said with a contented face, It's so delicious, I'm finally full. After he finished speaking, his eyes started to fight involuntarily. Go to sleep over there. Hanxing pointed to a dilapidated house not far away, with a thick layer of hay stacked inside. Oh, Lord Han. Did you let me stay? Terumi Mei asked cautiously. Let's talk about it tomorrow. You go to bed first. That used to be where Tsunade slept. Hanxing changed the subject. Oh. Terumi Mei walked towards the inside with a look of loss, and it didn't take long for her to hear her sleeping snoring. Watching Terumi Mei leave, Hanxing continued to eat the roast suckling pig in front of him. Terumi Mei's arrival was an accident. After eating, Hanxing continues his practice. A day later, Hanxing woke up from a deep sleep and smelled a scent as soon as they came together. Advertisement. Walking out of the corner, I found that Terumi Mei was making breakfast, and the surroundings were neat and tidy. Hanxing knew that Terumi Mei was expressing herself at this time and asked herself to keep her. Master Han. You're up, Terumi Mei said with a sweaty smile. You did all of this? Hanxing pointed and said indifferently. There was a hint of surprise in my heart. I didn't expect that 5th Mizukage would still cook and clean the housework in the future. Yes. I thought it was a little messy, so I cleaned it up, Terumi Mei said cautiously. Okay. Let's eat, Hanxing said. Just as he was about to do it, Terumi Mei quickly served Hanxing a bowl of porridge. It tastes good, Hanxing exclaimed after tasting it. Terumi Mei's face is full of joy. After a while, the two finished eating. Terumi Mei's face was full of nervousness. She looked at Hanxing, waiting for Hanxing's final decision. Forget it. You'll stay here in the future. Just in time for cleaning, cooking, etc. 4th Mizukage, you don't care, Hanxing said with some amusing. Thank you, Lord Han. Terumi Mei shouted happily. With this money, go to the nearby town to buy some daily necessities, as well as some clothes for yourself, Hanxing said, taking out a $500 W2 ticket from his arms and handing it to Terumi Mei. After that, I went back to my corner and continued to practice, regardless of whether Terumi Mei would run away with money or not. On a misty island surrounded by sea, advertisement. A ninja with the forehead protector of the mist ninja is going in and out of the island. This island is where the village of Kirin, one of the 5 great kingdoms, is located. In the center of the island, a large and luxurious building that is slightly more refined than the others stands there. This is where 4th Mizukage works. In the office, there was a figure with a baby face and green hair and purple eyes that couldn't tell his age. He was wearing a white imperial robe, and beside the table was a white bamboo hat with the words, "Water," written on it. This person is none other than 4th Mizukage Yagura, who waited for the Three Tails Jinchuriki after Yuan Yelin's death, and was then controlled by Obito to practice the unlucky ghost in the blood fog. Click. Suddenly the door of the room was pushed open, and an Anbu hurried in and whispered, Mizukage-sama, the mission failed. This Anbu is none other than Captain Anbu who chased after Terumi Mei last night and returned to Kirin village. Failure? You 3 elite Jonins can't even hold a little girl who has just been promoted to elite Jonin? There is a trace of anger on the Yagura doll's face, but this dissatisfaction is not so majestic, it will only make people say that it is so cute. Feeling a trace of anger in Yagura's tone, Captain Anbu was nervous. We were about to catch her, but she ran into the country of the vortex, and we dare not go into that person's territory, so we can only stay. The 2 guards, I will come back and report to you. The ruins of the country of vortex? Senjuan's territory? Yagura frowned and muttered softly. How did you get there? After speaking, the anger on his face was even more intense. You 3 are really good. I don't need to tell you how far our Mist Ninja village is from the country of Vortex. Such a long distance, you all can't kill her. Let her run to the country of Vortex. What a waste. A waste. The Anbu captain bowed his head and said nothing. He knew that Mr. Mizukage was at the time of his rage. If he raised the bar at this time, he would die very quickly. Chapter 191 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. After a while Yagura finished venting and returned to normal. Captain Anbu asked carefully, Mizukage-sama, what should we do? Wait a few days, and I'll sneak past when I get a chance. Now is the critical moment for me and Master Yuan to seize power. This old thing is so old and still clings to power. Yagura first pondered, then cursed. Mizukage-sama, Terumi Mei's family has always been a staunch supporter of Yuanshi-sama, and Yuanshi-sama is very fond of Terumi Mei. It's like a granddaughter. What do you think will happen if we don't kill Terumi Mei, but arrest Terumi Mei and threaten Master Yuanshi? Captain Anbu suggested in a low voice. You're right. My original intention was to kill Terumi Mei to be an example, to force the Master Yuan to hand over the power to me. But your move is not bad. First use Terumi Mei to test his position in the Master Yuan's heart. If it doesn't work, then kill. Yagura said coldly. Understood. You go back first, In a few days, I will personally go to the country of Vortex. If I want to come to Senjuhan, I will not lose face. Yagura frowned and pondered. After Captain Anbu left, Yagura's eyes flashed a stern look, and she murmured, "Old man, you can't take good care of yourself at such an old age. You have to hold on to your rights. Don't think I don't know what you want to hold on to. With the rights, it will be handed over to Terumi Mei in a few years. Why do you have to force me?" Since Terumi Mei came, Hanxing's life has changed a lot, even to the point of opening his hands for clothes and opening his mouth for food, saving him a lot of time. Advertisement much better than Tsunade's carefree, violent woman who knows nothing. Not only that, Terumi Mei also bought a few suits for him in the town. Hanxing was very satisfied, and thought to himself how right he was to let Terumi Mei stay. Night. The bright candlelight made their faces flush red. Hanxing took off the mouth of the mask, ate Terumi Mei's meal, and praised with a thumbs up, "Not bad. Look at your previous clothes, you are not low in Mist Shinobi. You can still cook such delicious food. My master taught me from a young age that in addition to becoming stronger, girls should also be able to cook, so that they can grab their husband's stomach after they get married in the future." Terumi Mei smiled softly, like a blooming flower, extremely beautiful, with a look of anticipation in her eyes. "Your master is right. In this world, both men and women must become stronger, otherwise there is no status at all. Only by becoming stronger can you have enough right to speak, so that you can do what you like," Hanxing said calmly. "Master Han, can I ask you, how old are you?" "No comment," Hanxing said coldly. "If you didn't tell me, I also guessed a rough idea. Your skin is fair and you are definitely not more than 20 years old," Terumi Mei said confidently. "How do you know?" Hanxing was a little surprised. He was wearing a mask. How did Terumi Mei see it? Could it be the bone manipulation in the next world? No, he hasn't had contact with Terumi Mei yet. "I can't tell you that. This is the secret technique that my teacher gave me." Terumi Mei's eyes lit up, and she was extremely surprised. She didn't expect that she would deceive Mr. Han's real age by a random trick. He is less than 20 years old, so the real age of Master Han is 16 to 19 years old. He is powerful, but I don't know if there is anything wrong with his face. If there is no problem, isn't this the template for my future man Terumi Mei? Advertisement putting away the nympho look on his face. Terumi Mei spoke again, carefully testing. "Master Han, is there any wound on your face? Why do you keep wearing a mask?" "My face is fine. I just don't want others to see my appearance," Hanxing said angrily. "It's okay. Then you eat. Eat more." Terumi Mei hurriedly handed the cooked food to Hanxing. Her heart was about to jump with excitement. Could it be that this is my mother's true son? That said, I would also like to thank the fourth Mizukage for chasing me. Ignoring Terumi Mei's nympho-like appearance, Hanxing finished eating and returned to his corner to temper his soul, find a way to escape, and bombard the eighth gate. Time is like running water, and a week passes quietly in the blink of an eye. After a week of training, Hanxing's Yangdun was traced by him, and the spiritual body in his mind also shrunk a little again after these days of training. Yangdun, empowering life in the form, is the power of Yang that controls the energy of the body. Yangdun represents ninjutsu. In addition to the constitution of the Senju family, there are medical ninjutsu and expansion jutsu. Expansion jutsu aside, Hanxing has sage body and medical ninjutsu, which is the basis of his master Yangdun. After 500 hidden clones, use medical ninjutsu and realize the mystery of sage body. Hanxing finally found a strange energy in his body last night. This energy Hanxing controlled it to come to his fingertips, and then, to the ground. Advertisement: a seed on the ground begins to germinate, grows, and becomes a blooming flower in the blink of an eye. Hanxing was very excited immediately. Fate is given to shape. Is this the ability of Yangdun? Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Hanxing continued to practice and discovered the Yangdun in his body. Hanxing's tense body could finally relax a little. Next, as long as you continue to excavate the Yangdun in the body, Hanxing believes that it will not take long for you to become fully proficient. Yeah. At this moment, Hanxing frowned and woke up from the cultivation space. In the electromagnetic induction, a figure was rushing towards here at a very fast speed. Looking at this kind of speed at least, it has Kage-level strength, so it's Mizukage, Hanxing murmured. Terumi Mei next to him looked at him with a face of nympho. Ever since Terumi Mei learned about his appearance and age a week ago, and after doing his own thing every day, he just sat here in a daze and looked at him. Hanxing was a little uncomfortable at first, but later, Hanxing got used to coming, so let her go. Master Han. You are awake. The food is ready. Do you want to eat? Terumi Mei smiled sweetly. No need. Let's go to the shore and have a look first. A person is rushing towards here. I think you should know this person. Hanxing shook his head and walked forward. I know. Who? Terumi Mei followed Hanxing, not sure why. If I'm not mistaken, it should be your fourth Mizukage, Yagura. Fourth Mizukage. Terumi Mei's face turned pale after hearing this, and she looked at Hanxing worriedly. Chapter 192 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. What are you looking at me for? Now that you are mine, of course I will not hand you over. Hanxing continued to move forward, with a bit of domineering in his indifferent tone. Thank you, Lord Han. Terumi Mei grinned beautifully, and then her face turned red, looking at Hanxing from time to time. He thought to himself, he just said that I am his person. His person. Thinking about it, Terumi Mei's face turned even more red, like a ripe apple. Hanxing didn't have to think to know what Terumi Mei was thinking, and continued to move forward, and in the blink of an eye, both of them had reached the shore. Not far from the shore, the three mist ninja Anbu saw Hanxing approaching, with a hint of panic on their faces. Han. Lord Han. You, why are you here? Captain Anbu, headed by him, said daringly. Hanxing ignored it, and looked directly at the sea. Captain Anbu, who was ignored, was not embarrassed. He cautiously stepped back. Seeing the direction Hanxing was looking at, he felt a burst of excitement in his heart. Could it be that Mizukage is here? Terumi Mei next to him looked at the Anbu trio who were not far away. His face was ugly. He secretly gestured a fist and protested to them. Whoa! At this moment, a figure was running towards this side at a very fast speed, and a wave of waves was set off behind him, forming a long wave waterline. From a distance, it looked like stepping on the sea in a novel. In the blink of an eye, he appeared opposite Hanxing. The figure stopped, and the waves behind him gradually disappeared.
The moment they saw the figure again, the three of Mizun and Anbu were extremely excited and said at the same time, Mizukage-sama. Advertisement. Yagura didn't speak, stared at Hanxing carefully, then glanced at Terumi Mei behind Hanxing, and said with a smile, this must be Senju Han, who is famous in the ninja world. It's me, Hanxing said indifferently. You must already know my identity, then I will not talk nonsense. The purpose of my coming here is to hope that you will give me the woman behind you. I hope you will give me a face.
Yagura pointed at Terumi Mei who was beside Hanxing and spoke lightly, but there was an unquestionable tone in her voice. She is my exclusive nanny now. I refuse this request. Hanxing answered without thinking, then paused and said, your face is worthless in my eyes. Yagura restrained the smile on his mouth, and his tone was cold. Do you know who you are talking to? Mizukage, one of the 5 great kingdoms. Don't think that if you beat Yuan Fei Hiruzen, you can be on a par with me. You must know that this is the sea, and I am Mizukage. With the natural bonus of the sea, I am invincible. Here, your wide area ninjutsu move doesn't matter at all. This is my world, Yagura said here, her eyes full of contempt. So, what do you want to express? Hanxing asked impatiently. You hand over Terumi Mei to me, and let's keep the water from the well, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude, Yagura said coldly. Stay away. Hanxing lowered his head and said to Terumi Mei. Oh, be careful, Terumi Mei said worriedly, and the figure quickly left in the distance. Turning his head, he said coldly, it's not that I haven't seen the shadows of the 5 great countries, but you are the first one who dares to speak to me in such a tone. As compensation, you must leave a little as a price today. Advertisement, humph. I also want to see how powerful Senju Han, who is called the next god of the ninja world, is. Yagura sneered. Turning his head, facing the 3 mist ninja Anbu not far away, you 3 also stay away from here. Yes. Mizukage-sama. X3. After the three of them finished speaking, they quickly left here. This kind of battle is not something they can participate in. The idle people waited to leave, and Yagura was not polite. The whole person stood in the sea, his hands quickly formed a seal, and his body was surging with chakra. He shouted, "Water-style great waterfall technique." There were ripples on the calm sea, and then, a monstrous ocean wave rose out of thin air, covering the sky and covering the sky, as if covering the sky, sweeping towards Hanxing. This great waterfall technique, whether it is the power or the scope of the great waterfall technique that is not cut out again, does not know how many times bigger, even the second Hokage Senju Tobirama, which is respected by water style, is nothing but the same. Hanxing looked at the waves above without hesitation, his hands were imprinted, his chest was bulging, and the chakra in his dantian was surging quickly. A loud shout followed with the scorching high temperature, "Fire style, the fire is extinguished." "Humph! You are so arrogant to use fire style on the sea." Fourth Mizukage Yagura snorted coldly, the contempt in his eyes undisguised. As soon as he finished speaking, his face suddenly changed. I saw the corners of Hanxing's mouth twitched, and a huge sea of fire quietly appeared beside him. The temperature of the sea of fire is not only very high, but also the range is comparable to his water-style great waterfall technique, and even higher than a line. Puff! Advertisement. Fire and water meet. Large tracts of water vapor rose up from between the two, completely covering the surroundings of the two in the blink of an eye, and spreading out at an extremely fast speed. After a while, the waves disappeared, and the flames in Hanxing's mouth also finished breathing. Beside him, half-cooked seafood fell from above. His eyes calmly looked at Yagura. The corners of his mouth opened, and he spit out, "That's it?" The disdain and contempt in the words are undisguised. The expression of Yagura just now is vividly interpreted. Yagura's face was gloomy, and he didn't know where Hanxing was imitating him, humiliating him, and hitting him in the face. "Humph!" Yagura snorted coldly, her hands quickly formed a seal, and shouted, "Water-style water mirror technique." The sea surface swirled, turning into a small vortex, and a figure composed of seawater gradually walked out from it, and when it came out, the figure also transformed into the appearance of Hanxing. The water mirror technique is Yagura's most proud ninjutsu. After performing it, there will be a person who is exactly the same as the enemy. No matter it is ninjutsu, the strength and power are the same as the enemy. After the fake Hanxing appeared, without Yagura's command, the lightning flashed on his body and ran towards Hanxing quickly. It's just that the lightning is not black on Hanxing's body, but light blue, which is the ordinary lightning style. The difference between Hanxing's lightning is not 1.5 star. Seeing this, Yagura made her hands print again, water-style water dragon bomb technique. The surface of the water boiled again, and a huge water dragon rose from the inside. It opened its mouth wide, and a huge stream of water was like a jade column, turning into a sharp arrow and galloping towards Hanxing. Hanxing's expression didn't change, his figure suddenly disappeared in place, and suddenly appeared in front of the fake Hanxing in the next instant. The black lightning flashed on his hand, and when he didn't react, the fake Hanxing's chest was pierced with one hand. Chapter 193. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Wow! At the moment of being pierced by Hanxing, the fake Hanxing turned into a stream of water, flowing on the ground. Turning his head, his hands quickly formed a seal, and shouted, "Fire style how long fire technique." A huge flame faucet compressed to the ultimate sprang up from Hanxing's side and rushed towards the water column not far away. The faucet is extremely hot and lifelike. As soon as it appeared, the surrounding water vapor suddenly increased sharply, and even the surrounding temperature increased a little. Puff! The sound of the compatibility of water and fire sounded again, the mist filled the air, and the scorching faucet erupted with a terrifying high temperature, which directly evaporated the water column in front of him, and the remaining power did not diminish, rushing towards the water dragon not far away. Hanxing retracted his gaze and looked at Yagura, who was not far away, and his figure disappeared in a flash. The black lightning flashed on his body, and the figure suddenly appeared behind Yagura, and a powerful whip kicked the air behind Yagura fiercely. Wow! The Yagura in front of him suddenly turned into a stream of water and fell into the water. Water style. Uzumaki water blade. Yagura yelled from behind. A series of spiral threads centered on Yagura shot towards Hanxing frantically. Each thread is condensed by extremely high-pressure water, which can easily cut off mountains and steel. And these silk threads are densely packed like a rain of arrows, all over the sky. Advertisement Hanxing's expression did not change, and at the moment when the threads arrived, his entire body turned into a black streamer and disappeared within the attack range of these threads. What a fast speed! Yagura had a hint of shock in her eyes. In this fog, he could only vaguely see a shadow of Hanxing, and in an instant, he lost trace of Hanxing. Crackle! Crackle! Yagura suddenly felt that his body was in great pain, and he couldn't even move. The whole person was like an electric shock, standing there, not only that, but also the soul. Behind him, Hanxing holds a black thunderbolt and puts his hands in the sea. He said lightly, "You are wrong. The sea is not your world, but mine." After speaking, he took out his right hand from the sea, and the lightning flashed into a long black sword, reaching Yagura's right arm. Hanxing just waved his shoulders, and Yagura's arm was cut off by Hanxing, and he fell into the water without a trace of obstruction. The incision is smooth and burnt, and you don't even need to stop the bleeding. Hanxing stood up, the whole person appeared next to Yagura's broken arm, picked it up with one hand, and said flatly, "This arm will be your gift." Yagura's body is weak, her hair is standing up, and there is a smell of burnt black throughout her body. The whole body or nerves have not returned to their original state, and they can't even mobilize chakra. With little ripples, Yagura's whole body slowly sinks into the sea. "With your strength, I don't know who gave you the confidence to be invincible in the sea," Hanxing sneered, grabbed Yagura's neck with one hand, and disappeared in the next instant. Outside the smoke-filled range, Kirin and 3 Anbu, nervously awaiting the outcome of the battle. If this battle were ordinary people, or cage-level powerhouses from other countries, they would not worry. After all, their own Mizukage can be said to be invincible in the sea. But facing that person, they couldn't help but be nervous, no matter what the rumors said. Just using that one hand on the sea surface was even more powerful than Yagura-sama's fire style, and their hearts were suddenly suspended. Advertisement According to information, Senju is good at lightning-style bloodline. Who would have thought that his fire style would be so powerful? Can you believe that the fire style used in the ocean is stronger than the water style of Mizukage-sama? Not to mention, the thunder and lightning that he is best at is still useless. Water can overcome fire, and fire can also overcome water under certain circumstances. But what about water and electricity? Although the 5 elements are relative to water, not electricity, and electricity is not water, but there is another situation that water conducts electricity. If the two must be compared, lightning style still restrains water style. Elite Jonin, who are mist ninjas, can be regarded as the backbone of the village. Their vision is still there, and they have no confidence in the battle between 4th Mizukage and Senju Han. At this moment, the sound of battle in the thick fog suddenly stopped. The 3 looked at each other, and this is the end. How long has it been? Not even a minute. Just as the 3 of them were thinking about it, a figure suddenly appeared behind them. The moment they saw the figure, the faces of the 3 of them became extremely ugly, and their bodies trembled unconsciously. "Han. Lord Han. What have you done to our family, Lord Mizukage?" Captain Anbu said cautiously. "It's okay. Just cut off one of his arms. You can still help him transplant it under the conditions of your mist." Hanxing finished speaking lightly, and threw the 4th Mizukage Yagura on his shoulders to the 3 of them, and even gave them the broken arm by the way. "When you go back, tell him that he is a first offender, and forgive him this time. Next time, it won't be as simple as just an arm." "We understand. I understand. We'll leave now." Captain Mist Ninja nodded hurriedly. Advertisement, thousands. Thousands. Senjuhan. I lost this time. I will always remember you. I will regard you as my lifelong opponent, Yagura said intermittently with eyes wide open on Anbu's shoulders. "I'm afraid you will never have this chance," Hanxing said coldly, and the figure disappeared in place. "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." Not far from the shore, Terumi Mei clasped her hands together, pacing back and forth, praying carefully. Although she had already guessed who would win in the general ending, Her heart was always beating fiercely and she was worried. If you don't see who the real result is, your heart is always at ease. After all, that is their Mizukage, the invincible existence on the sea. At this moment, the fighting stopped inside. Terumi Mei looked around worriedly with a pair of beautiful eyes, and after waiting for a while, Hanxing was nowhere to be seen, and a bad thought suddenly rose in her heart. Master Han won't be defeated. Once this thought came up, it couldn't be stopped, and tears filled his eyes unconsciously. After a while, pea-sized tears fell from the eyes to the ground involuntarily. "What are you crying for?" A voice suddenly appeared behind her. This voice Terumi Mei will never forget. Turning around, he raised his head and touched Hanxing's body carefully. After confirming that nothing was wrong, he plunged into Hanxing's arms. He said happily, "Great, great, you are all right. I haven't seen you for so long after the battle, I thought you were dead." Terumi Mei lay in Hanxing's arms and continued, "I'm fine, I just handed over Yagura's body to the 3 Mist Ninja Anbu not far away," Hanxing said flatly. Chapter 194 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. "What?" Terumi Mei exclaimed and came out of Hanxing's arms, with a trembling voice in her voice. You killed 4th Mizukage?" "No. I just cut off one of his arms. By the way, he was charged by my lightning in the sea and couldn't move. I just handed him over to the Mist Ninjas." Hanxing shook his head and walked towards the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex. "Huh. That's good." Terumi Mei patted her chest, sighing in relief. Although she hated 4th Mizukage Yagura, she wished he died immediately, but she didn't want him to die at this stage. After all, it was during the Third World War. The shadow of a country died. Who knows if it will be targeted by other countries? Without a word, Hanxing returned to the country of Vortex, finished the meal cooked by Terumi Mei, and continued back to his own corner. In the training space, Hanxing divided 500 shadow clone to continue to practice or develop the Yongdun he just found from his body. The ontology is to abandon the 5 senses, and the consciousness enters the spirit body. Although his spirit body is only 1/3 of the original one, this 3rd spirit body is no less than the original spirit body. Hanxing controlled the spirit body and tried to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. He didn't know whether this method would work or not. He could only try it according to the previous novels. Advertisement. Now his spiritual body has been tempered to ultimate by thunder. What he wants now is to increase his spiritual body, that is, spiritual energy, so that his spiritual body can return to its original appearance. Although you can recover or increase your spirit after a sleep, the amount of increase is so small that it is almost impossible to check. As a last resort, Hanxing had no choice but to think of this way. In the dark space, the Hanxing controller's spirit body exudes a suction force to the outside, and one after another invisible black stars are sucked into the body by this spirit body. A day later, Hanxing opened his eyes, surprised with a hint of disappointment. He was delighted that his spiritual body could indeed absorb spiritual energy, and the active absorption was 10 times that of passive absorption. What is disappointing is that the spiritual energy after active absorption is far less pure than his own spirit body. After repeated tempering by lightning, he only gets 3 strokes, which are almost equivalent to nothing after being absorbed by his own spirit body. So much better than sleeping. Afterwards, Hanxing added another item, absorbing spiritual energy, then tempering it with lightning, and then bombarding the 8th inner gate's 8th gate. The time passed extremely fulfilling. Half a year passed in the blink of an eye. During this half year, the situation in the ninja world was unpredictable. After knowing that Hanxing had maimed Konoha, other countries finally couldn't hold back and launched an attack on Konoha. Tsunade couldn't let go of Konoha after all, so he came back half a year ago and talked to Hanxing, then went back to help. After seeing Terumi Mei, the 2 women were like mortal enemies. After staying for 2 days, Tsunade couldn't help returning to Konoha. Hanxing's brain is going to get bigger these 2 days, which makes him sound the tenderness of Ino and Hinata again. Not long after that, some mist ninjas came here to look for Terumi Mei, who seemed to be Terumi Mei's clansmen, so Hanxing didn't bother to care. Advertisement. Terumi Mei talked to them for a long time, crying and laughing, then stayed here and continued to take care of Hanxing's life. As for the purpose of Terumi Mei's stay here, Hanxing probably already knew after getting along for half a year. I sighed secretly in my heart. It is the most difficult to accept the grace of beauty. In the training space, Hanxing sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, absorbing the spiritual energy in the darkness. Now the spirit body in his mind has recovered more than half of the original spirit body. At the end of the day's practice, Hanxing opened his eyes and patted the ground with both hands. As the chakras surged, huge trees rose from the ground, and the wide ground turned into a small forest in the blink of an eye. This is the spell that Hanxing Master got after he escaped. Half a year ago, after Hanxing Master escaped, he unintentionally used wood style. This shocked him. He remembered that wood style was made by mixing water and soil, but at the moment when his master Yangdun cooperated with chakra, a big tree appeared out of thin air on the ground as soon as his mind moved. Does he remember that his chakra attributes are wind, thunder, and fire? Hanxing had a guess, and quickly took out a chakra test paper and injected chakra into it. Sure enough, Hanxing murmured, watching the change on the chakra test strip. I saw that the chakra test paper was divided into 5 areas. One area was on fire, one area was split, one area became wrinkled, one area was extremely wet, and the last area was broken. These 5 areas represent that Hanxing has awakened the 5 attributes chakra unconsciously, plus the yin and yang attributes of the master just now. The 7 attributes in Hokage have been completely mastered by him. Advertisement. After knowing that he had 5 chakras, Hanxing divided 100 shadow clones. In addition to practicing lightning-style ninjutsu, he also divided 400, 100 cultivating earth chakra changes, and 100 cultivating water chakra change. The last 200 are practicing wood style. As for the ninjutsu of these 2, he doesn't plan to learn it, but now his master's ninjutsu is enough for him. In addition to the wood style and lightning style in the future, there are also various attribute balls, enough for him to hang everything. Hanxing's cultivation is half a year, which is 5 years in the cultivation space. In the 5 years, Hanxing has fully integrated the first generation wood style given by Tsunade, and the yin-yang escape technique has also become a master. The only thing that gives me a headache is the immortal gate of the 8th gate in my mind. I have been grinding it for 5 years without a single crack. This made him feel that there was a mistake in the way he bombarded. He must know that the master yin-yang escape must be a 6 paths level character. Now that he has mastered the yin-yang escape, why can't he blast the 8th gate? Forget it. It's time to leave, Hanxing murmured. He missed the 2 daughters Hinata and Ino, and now he has no room for improvement.
The only way to find a way is to go back. Glancing at the original green bean-sized chakra in the dantian, it has now become the size of a thumb. The increase can only be said to be okay. If I absorb the dragon veins myself, I am afraid it will directly become the size of a duck egg.
After making up his mind, Hanxing got up and looked at Terumi Mei, who was cooking with concentration. A trace of reluctance flashed in Hanxing's eyes. Why did you show up? The meal isn't ready yet. We'll have to wait. Terumi Mei was stunned for a moment, then smiled. I'm leaving. Hanxing suppressed the reluctance in his heart and said plainly. Chapter 195. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. If you want to leave, just leave. Just remember to come back. Terumi Mei's face changed, and she forced a smile. Alas. I don't know when I'll be back, Hanxing sighed. What do you mean? You are leaving me. Terumi Mei's face turned pale, tears welled up in her eyes, and the pear blossoms were raining, which was truly pitiful. Hanxing walked over, wiped the tears from Terumi Mei's eyes, and pondered, I am going to a faraway place, and it will take at least 10 years to come back. After Hanxing finished speaking, he stopped talking. Can't you take me? Terumi Mei cried. Hanxing shook his head. He wanted to return to his future world. How could he take Terumi Mei back? Didn't this disrupt the order? Before Hanxing finished speaking, Terumi Mei said directly. I'm waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. You. Hanxing didn't know what to say. His original intention was to let Terumi Mei find a suitable one and get married. Who would have heard Terumi Mei say that? At the same time, Hanxing felt very uncomfortable. He felt like a scumbag in a novel. Actually, you don't have to. Hanxing said here, interrupted again by Terumi Mei. No ifs. Do you think this ninja world, if the old lady likes you, will you like others? Or do you think others will be better than you? Terumi Mei jumped directly into Hanxing's arms and shouted. When are you leaving? Terumi Mei raised her head in her arms, and asked with hope in her eyes. 3 days later. Hanxing bit his head. Advertisement. Yeah. 3 days is enough. Terumi Mei smiled. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. Hanxing and Terumi Mei traveled all over the towns near the land of Vortex during these 3 days, and each town left a beautiful footprint and memory of the two of them. In the early morning, Hanxing was eating the food made by Terumi Mei in the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex. Both of them were silent. Today is the day he left. After eating, Hanxing took out a scroll from his arms and handed it to Terumi Mei. This is the training method of 100 healings mark. You can practice according to the above. She can make you look younger. Terumi Mei's eyes lit up after hearing this, and even the sadness of parting disappeared. Which girl doesn't love beauty? She is no exception. She said she would wait for Hanxing for more than 10 years, but she still cares about her beauty. If you have this secret technique, your age will no longer be a problem. Okay. I'll send you back to Miston Village. By the way, I'll explain to Yagura. Hanxing said softly, hugging Terumi Mei. Terumi Mei smiled softly. While the two were talking, Hanxing turned into a streamer and disappeared in place. At the entrance of Kirin Village, Hanxing appeared here with Terumi Mei in his arms. Lord Terumi Mei. Welcome back to the village. The two misters were stunned for a moment, and then said respectfully. Is my teacher still there? Terumi Mei was hugged by Hanxing and didn't come down, and she didn't look shy. Master Yuan is still in the old place, a gatekeeper mist ninja said. Terumi Mei nodded and pointed at Hanxing. Let's go. Advertisement. Hanxing is helpless. She had to walk in the direction that Terumi Mei pointed out. She knew how Terumi Mei felt. Shortly after Hanxing left, one of the gatekeepers, Kirin, trembled a little. Photo. The man from Terumi Mei-sama is not the one rumored in the ninja world. Who? Another Wu Ren, a little silly, didn't seem to come back to his senses. Stupid. It's Senju Han who ruled the roost with lightning style and forced Konoha Hokage to die half of his clan. This mist ninja hated that iron is not steel. It's him? Another Wu ninja said, trembling back to his senses. Me? I am fortunate enough to meet this lord. What do you say that Terumi Mei-sama brought this sire to our Kirin for what? Shish. Silence. These are high-level matters, don't ask us little bastards. Let's continue to watch the door. However, Mizukage-sama is probably a bit difficult. The streets of Kirigakure are a bit deserted, not as prosperous as Konoha, but there are some people selling it. This pair of Hanxing has attracted the attention of everyone in the village. Of course, at most, these people point and discuss behind the scenes, and the others are nothing. Terumi Mei's status in the village is still very high. Under the guidance of Terumi Mei, Hanxing turned left and right, and finally came to the door of a mansion that was a little different from other buildings. Suddenly, a disdainful voice sounded not far from the palace. Who am I to make such a bold move as soon as I come back? It turned out to be Terumi Mei, who disappeared for more than half a year. The two of Hanxing turned their heads, and a young man with a beheading sword looked at them with a resolute expression. Advertisement behind him are 6 young men of different shapes and carrying various strange knives. Plus 7 young people not far away. It's them. Terumi Mei's pupils shrank. Must endure the 7 people, Hanxing thought to himself. Then, with a cold face, he said, Do you want to die? After he finished speaking, a powerful pressure suddenly erupted from Hanxing's body, like a flood, heading towards the 7 people with constant pressure. The 7 people were under the sudden pressure, their faces flushed red, and their bodies unconsciously fell down, as if they were carrying a big mountain, and they almost couldn't breathe. In this coercion is also mixed with a strong smell of blood. Even if they are murderous, they feel a little nauseated. They felt that they were in the sea of blood in hell, and Hanxing was the Shura who walked out of the sea of blood, and seemed to be slaughtering the whole world. Looking at Hanxing, there was a hint of panic in his eyes. The 7 members of the Mist Ninja were considered to be the elites of the Mizzen elite. Except for 4th Mizukage, in Mizan village, their strength was basically not afraid of anyone. This is the first time they have been coerced into this way. Even the coercion of 4th Mizukage Yagura will not be as powerful as this person's coercion. No. The two can be said to be incomparable. Suddenly, the head of the Loquat Juzo seemed to remember the rumors about Terumi Mei some time ago, and looked at the dress, mask, and black clothes of the person in front of him. Gritting his teeth, he said with horror on his face, You are Senjuhan. The Senjuhan who forced the Hokage, Yuan Fei, Hiruzen, the Land of Fire, to destroy all the ninjas in his clan? As soon as the voice of Loquat Shizang fell, the expressions of the other 6 people changed greatly, and some even had a glimpse of it. This is no wonder. If it was this person, they would not be surprised. After all, the strength of this man is comparable to that of his ancestor first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Chapter 196 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. It's me, Hanxing Flat Kaido. Hearing Hanxing's answer in person, Loquat Shizang and the others felt their scalps go numb. What's the matter? They just heard that Terumi Mei was being carried back to Mist Nin village, but they didn't know who was holding her. Because they don't have a good relationship with Terumi Mei, they came here just to mock Terumi Mei, and by the way, they wanted to see who stole Kirinan's village flower. I didn't expect it to be this evil spirit, and the 7 people in the 10 Tibetan Loquats all wanted to die. It's not good to offend anyone, but this person is the one who got offended. I knew that Terumi Mei's man was him, and they would not come to kill them. Master Han. Master Terumi Mei was my fault. I shouldn't have said that to you, please let us go. Loquat Shizang knew Hanxing's identity and simply confessed and begged for mercy. He wouldn't doubt what Hanxing just said. If he really irritated him, he might turn the entire Mist Ninja village into a thunderfield like Konoha, the Land of Fire. Maybe they won't kill him, but once the Thunder territory is formed, their village will be destroyed. If this is the case, they will become the sinners of the whole Mist Ninja. Senjuhan. Let him go. This time I'm the one who's wrong. Yagura in a Mizukage costume suddenly appeared in front of Hanxing, her face a bit ugly. After all, whoever sees his enemy with a broken arm publicly coercing his subordinates in his own village, he can't take revenge, he can only hold it back, and no one's face will look good. Okay. I'll give you and Terumi Mei a face this time. Hanxing took back his aura and said indifferently. There are still some roles in the original work. Besides, this is the village where Terumi Mei lives. If you don't give Yagura face, you have to give Terumi Mei some face. After a pause, you can go. Let's go. Yagura waved to the group of 7 members of the Mist Ninja not far away. Yes. Lord Mizukage. Thank you Lord Han for your kindness of not killing. After Loquat Shizang finished speaking, he took the 6 people behind him and left without looking back. What are you doing with us, Kirin? Yagura said with an ugly face when there were only 3 people left. Advertisement. Send Terumi Mei back. I'm leaving here for a while, Hanxing said truthfully. Leave? Where are you going? Yagura's face was puzzled, but her heart was filled with joy. I'm going to a place for a deep retreat for 3 years, and I'll come back to pick up Terumi Mei in 3 years. If something happens to her, you won't need to exist anymore. Hanxing lied and threatened. The less people know about his departure, the better. As for telling 4th Mizukage, the 3 wars should end after 3 years, and Yagura will also be controlled by Obito, implement the blood fog policy, and then be overthrown by Terumi Mei. These 3 years are time to buy Terumi Mei. Don't worry, she has your god tier behind her now, and I don't want to die, nor do I want the village to be wiped out. Yagura snorted coldly and gritted her teeth. After that, regardless of the reaction of Hanxing and others, just use the body flicker technique and leave. As a shadow of a country, he still has a lot of things to do. After knowing that Hanxing will not destroy Mist Ninja, he really doesn't want to talk to this enemy more. With no idlers left, Hanxing pointed to the mansion opposite and said, "Is this your teacher's house?" Terumi Mei nodded. Looking at Hanxing full of little stars, this is the man of the old lady, and a word made the top elite of the village, the 7 people, begging for mercy. In the face of the threat of 4th Mizukage, 4th Mizukage did not dare to resist at all. It was really amazing. Terumi Mei was extremely proud. Okay. Just take you to the door, I'm leaving. Hanxing put Terumi Mei down and said softly. Well. Then you must come back after 10 years, Terumi Mei said with some reluctance. Got it. Hanxing rubbed Terumi Mei's forehead. The next moment, the figure suddenly disappeared in place. Advertisement. In the dark cave, the old Madara sat there with deep eyes, and beside him, a young man was lying there with a bandage all over his body, as if he was floating. This person is Uchiha Obito, and it looks like the Battle of Kamubi Bridge has already happened. Sir Madara. Senjuhan left the original country of Vortex and started the village of Mist. On the ground, White Zetsu quietly revealed his brain. Cure this child and act according to our plan. He will be my spokesperson in the ninja world in the future, Uchiha Madara said blankly. Understood. Madara-sama, what about you? White Zetsu asked. Go to Senju Tsunade. He will definitely go to Tsunade. I don't have much time, so I can only wait. Understood. The border between the land of fire and the land of earth. The high-level leaders headed by Lu Ju sat around a tall tent with a light expression on their faces. After the Battle of Shinobi Bridge, Rock Shinobi Village has no more power to fight. It is estimated that it will not be long before this war will end with our victory. The biggest contributor to this war, we would like to thank Minato. Nara Shikahisa spoke in a deep voice. Where? It's just a fluke. Namikaze Minato smiled softly, but there was a little sadness in that smile, because one of his disciples was killed in battle. That man is Uchiha Obito. Now, the country of Wind has lost the desire to fight, only a few ninjas need to stay at the border, and the battle of the land has come to an end. Advertisement. Only Jiraiya-sama and Orochimaru-sama are left in the Land of Thunder, and it is estimated that victory is a matter of time. I'm afraid Wu Ninja Village will also join the fight, Lu Ju said here, with a trace of worry on his face. Lord Lukyu, I don't think you need to worry. Lord Hokage will think of a way when the time comes. A young man opened his mouth, and this person was Mimura Hazaki, the frontline commander of the Konoha Defense Force in the original book. Now with the addition of Hanxing, the butterfly effect has occurred, and with the addition of Lu Ju and others, he can only be regarded as one of the top leaders of the frontline troops. Hopefully. Lu Ju smiled bitterly. How about Tsunade-sama? Shikaku asked. Not bad. After blindfolded, Tsunade-sama was shaking a little, but he was still able to use medical ninjutsu. Many injured ninjas have been healed. Yamanaka Kai said next to Shikaku. Who? That's good, dear, Lu Ju. No, it's not good. Here, not far ahead, I found the trace of Lord Han. At this moment, the tent was opened, and Hyuga Hazashi ran in with his eyes open and sweating profusely. Hazashi. Why are you panicking? Master Han must be here to find Master Tsunade. It's not to trouble us, Lu Ju said with a smile. If this were the case, I wouldn't be so panic. The key is that there is an old man opposite Master Han. From their conversation, I vaguely read that the old man called himself. He called himself. Saying this, Hyuga Hazashi has a hint of wonder and horror in his eyes. What do you call yourself? Lu Ju frowned. Hazashi took a deep breath to suppress his panic and said, the old man calls himself Uchiha Madara. Chapter 197 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. What do you say his name is? Lu Ju's face changed greatly, and he said anxiously. He said his name was Uchiha Madara. I was far away and didn't hear the conversation between the two, but I found out by reading Lord Han's lips. Hazashi also calmed down and said loudly. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of all the Konoha high-level people present suddenly changed, and the tent became extremely silent, with panic, shock, etc. Various negative expressions were different. None of them doubted that Hazashi's lip language would be wrong. Now that Hazashi says it's Uchiha Madara, it must be true. Hiss. Hiss. The people who finally came to their senses were all gasping for air, even the young girl Jui, who was known for her composure, was no exception. This news is too shocking. Can you imagine Uchiha Madara who was killed by first Hokage in the Valley of the End alive? You must know that Uchiha Madara, who ended the Sengoku era with first Hokage, created the Five Kingdoms, and was called one of the two gods of the ninja world by the ninja world, stands at the pinnacle of the ninja world. No, Minato, you are fast. You go and tell Tsunade-sama about this. Others follow me there to see. Nara Shikahisa, who had recovered his senses, spoke excitedly. Since Uchiha Madara didn't die in the battle with Shodai, but Go survived, then why didn't he continue to hide now, but instead appeared openly and blocked the way of Lord Han? Advertisement. The only possibility is that Uchiha Madara's lifespan is running out, and he is about to die. Before he dies, he wants to fight a battle and burst into the final brilliance that he deserves.
Die. Die vigorously. This is the pride of Uchiha Madara.
In today's ninja world, the one who can make him fight with all his strength is honored by ninjas from all over the world as the new god of ninja world, Senju Han. Lu Ju can think of this. Other brains are not as fast as Lu Ju, but after thinking about it for a while, he can think of it, and there is a look of anticipation in his eyes. After Lu Ju finished speaking, the others had already left quickly. Such a big scene is a rare occurrence in a century. Away from the border between the land of earth and the land of fire, Hanxing frowned at the waning old man in front of him. His original intention was to go to the border of the land to say goodbye to Tsunade, who would have thought to meet him here. And, it seems, this person has been waiting here for a long time, anticipating that he is going to find Tsunade. The old man was wrapped in a white armor-like object, and his eyes were extremely deep, like a spinning black hole, and he would fall into it unconsciously at a glance. His face is expressionless, just standing there. There is an aura of looking down on the world alone and blocking the army. This man is none other than Uchiha Madara, who lives by Gedo statue, now called Old Madara. It just makes Hanxing a little weird that Old Madara doesn't live underground. What is he doing here? Kill him, or have other ideas? For a while, Hanxing didn't know what to say, so he could only watch quietly. Advertisement. On the other hand, Madara looked at Hanxing carefully, and after a long time, she spoke with a hint of admiration in her voice. I didn't expect that after many years, the Hashirama clan will still have such an excellent junior like you. Award, Hanxing said flatly, paused and then said, it's just that I don't understand, since you were defeated by my ancestor Senju Hashirama, since you have chosen to live, why do you still appear in front of me? A wave flashed in Uchiha Madara's scarlet eyes. So, did you recognize me? Look at the momentum, look at the hairstyle and think of the age, and the ultimate forbidden technique of your Uchiha family, Izanagi. Hanxing said word by word. You even know that Izanagi from the Uchiha clan is much smarter than that idiot Hashirama, and is comparable to Senju Tobirama. Uchiha Madara said indifferently. At this age, Uchiha Madara has never experienced anything, and he can handle many things with indifference. Last question. When did you know I exist? Uchiha Madara asked. Remember when I first appeared? At that time, Third Raikage fought rock shinobi with tens of thousands of ninjas. My perception range is very wide, and I sensed your presence right there, but I didn't know it was you at that time. I only knew there are 3 breaths of life below. Hanxing lied. So it is? Uchiha Madara murmured, and then said, do you have anything to ask this old man? One question. Why don't you stay underground and come here to find me? Hanxing asked the doubts in his heart. Your existence has destroyed the peace of the ninja world and hindered my plans. I feel uneasy to keep you here. You should go with me to see Shinigami. Uchiha Madara's voice was flat, but her tone was extremely domineering and confident. So, do you want to pull back before you die? Hanxing grinned. So to speak. The old Madara said flatly. I'm afraid that you didn't take me away, but you went to hell. Hanxing confronted each other, not afraid at all. Advertisement without Rinnegan. He is another dying person. How much combat power can he exert? But Hanxing knows that he is definitely not as good as him. Junior. It's important to know that there are people outside the world. Uchiha Madara showed a trace of anger. If you were at the peak of your strength when you were young, maybe I'd be a little bit more afraid. Now, how much strength can you show? Hanxing said flatly, with a hint of sarcasm in his words. Junior. You have succeeded in angering me. As soon as Uchiha Madara's voice fell, a terrifying aura burst out from his body and shot straight into the sky. The dark clouds in the sky were directly shattered by this aura, revealing the inner sun. The remaining prestige remained undiminished, and with it as the center, it turned into a strong hurricane, spreading frantically toward the surroundings, and in the blink of an eye, the entire area of 100 miles was shrouded in it. Let me see how much fighting power you, who were called the two god tiers of the ninja world at the time, still have. An aura that was no weaker than Uchiha Madara suddenly erupted from Hanxing. Stand up to the momentum of Uchiha Madara. The momentum of the two is like substance, like two crescent-shaped sword lights, attacking each other back and forth. In the center of the two, the flat ground began to gradually reveal cobweb-like cracks, and these cracks are expanding at an extremely fast speed. Some of the surrounding weeds, flowers, soil, were directly swept up by these two colliding breaths, rising from the ground and flying towards the distance with the two momentums. It's a very large sandstorm that can destroy everything in the desert. Chapter 198 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Not far away, Lu Ju and other high-level executives squinted and watched this scene in horror. This was not even a fight, and just relying on the momentum to cause strong fluctuations. If they fought for a while, wouldn't the movement be even bigger? Do we want to stay away from here? Lu Ju pondered slightly. Agree. Seconded. The others said one after another. Just then, Tsunade and Namikaze Minato appeared beside several people. What's the matter with Lu Ju? Is that person really the ancestor of the Uchiha family? Uchiha Madara, who is side by side with my grandfather? Tsunade said with a shocked expression. Lu Ju gave a wry smile. Master Tsunade. You should see it for yourself. The momentum of the two of them has already reached such a scale, I just can't believe it. When I was born, my grandfather showed me a photo of Uchiha Madara and him, but it was many years ago, but the hairstyles are still somewhat similar. Tsunade pondered. Lord Tsunade, we need to stay away. Once this kind of battle starts, we can't bear the aftermath. Lu Ju smiled bitterly. Go. I'm here. Tsunade waved his hand impatiently. Then, Master Tsunade, take care of yourself. After Shikuji finished speaking, he walked away with everyone around him. That's right. Besides Hashirama, you are the first person who can block all my coercion, not even second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Uchiha Madara praised in the middle of the battle. If you don't do it, then I will do it, I'm in a hurry. Hanxing said. The figure flashed quickly, and appeared in front of Uchiha Madara in the blink of an eye. The white fist blasted towards Uchiha Madara's chest with violent energy. Boom! Advertisement. The dull sound resounded all around, and powerful energy erupted from Hanxing's fist in an instant. It was as fierce as a volcano. Uchiha Madara slid out to the back, leaving two deep footprints on the ground. Nothing happened after that. He walked towards Hanxing step by step, and beside him, a small blue armor slowly wrapped it like a shield. Hanxing narrowed his eyes. Suzano? The strength is good, but unfortunately with it, your fists are useless in front of it. Uchiha Madara said blankly, it's my turn. In the next instant, Uchiha Madara's old body suddenly disappeared in place, like a teleportation, and suddenly appeared in front of Hanxing. The old fist attacked Hanxing quickly. At the moment of his attack, the old fist suddenly changed, and light blue energy instantly wrapped it into a huge fist. With the whistling wind, directly Hanxing the chest. Boom! The dull voice sounded again. The only difference is that this time it is Hanxing who is sliding into the distance. Hanxing walked towards Madara step by step. The shield made of wood on his chest disappeared quietly. Wood style. Uchiha Madara slowly spit out two words. There was a ripple in his calm eyes, which represented that his mood was not very calm at this time. Wonderful. Not only do you have the terrifying lightning-style bloodline, but you also inherit Hashirama's wood style. Advertisement. I admit that I underestimated you. If I die, the ninja world will respect you, Madara whispered plainly. Award. Hanxing smiled indifferently. Ha ha ha. Let me see how much wood style you have inherited from Hashirama. Uchiha Madara burst out laughing. Quick knots with both hands. When Hanxing saw Madara's nodding gesture, his face remained unchanged and his hands quickly formed the knot. His nodding gesture was exactly the same as that of Uchiha Madara. Madara saw Hanxing's seal gesture, and as an old fritter, she naturally knew what Hanxing was thinking, and sneered. Junior, fire style is the ninjutsu that my Uchiha clan is proud of. Do you think it can be better than me in fire style? You'll know if you try it, Hanxing said without fear. Chakra surging rapidly on the two of them, their chests bulging high, and they said at the same time, Fire style extinction, X2. Two flames with scorching temperature erupted from their mouths. This flame is not only powerful, but also has a wide range. It is not an exaggeration to call it a sea of fire. At the moment of its appearance, the temperature in the air rose rapidly, the space where the flames burned with a sense of distortion, and the smell of anxiety came even more. Even the ground where the two were unknowingly became black. What? Uchiha Madara secretly exclaimed in his heart. He did not expect that the fire-style ninjutsu he was proud of would be on an equal footing with a junior, which made him so proud that it was difficult for him to accept. After a while, knowing that neither of them could do anything, they both cancelled the ninjutsu at the same time. Junior, in today's ninja world, you can use fire style to beat me, and you are qualified to let the old man remember you, Senju-han. After Hashirama, the most talented Senju clan. Uchiha Madara's withered face up, slightly gloomy. Lord Madara, your time is running out. It's time to use that trick. Madara's white armor revealed a human head, reminding in a low voice. Got it. I didn't expect to use that trick, Madara murmured. White Zetsu, let's go. Follow the plan in the future. Advertisement, no. After White Zetsu finished speaking, his body turned into a stream of water, fell into the ground, and disappeared. Looks like you're running out of time. Are you going to use a trick to prepare for a showdown? Hanxing heard the conversation between the two, and said flatly. This trick was realized by the old man when he was dying. Madara said that violent energy fluctuations erupted from her whole body. Its power is even greater than before. These energies turned into a burst of energy tidal beams that shot straight into the sky, dazzling and dazzling. In this slightly gloomy sky, it is like a pillar of ascension, making people feather and soar. At a speed visible to the naked eye, Madara's body was like an inflated sponge and began to recover quickly. The body of Ganshweni began to become vertical, tall, and powerful. The wrinkles on the face began to disappear, and it became smooth and elastic like a teenager. The scarlet eyes were bright, as if they were rekindled. I don't know when to put on the unique red armor. With eyes wide open, a domineering aura is coming. After a while, the energy tide ended, and a young man with his arms crossed his chest stood upright and looked at Hanxing with a dull gaze. Word by word, this trick, the old man called it the ultimate sublimation. Exhausted all life, energy back to the peak of youth. Any side effect? If I'm not mistaken, the time is short, and you'll die after use, right? Hanxing interrupted Madara and hurriedly replied. Chapter 199 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. That's right. There are only 3 minutes. Madara answered truthfully, paused and said, 3 minutes is enough for this old man to drag you into hell. I don't believe it. Hanxing shook his head. Ignorance junior. Just let you see how strong I am today. Madara sneered. In the next instant, when he stepped on the footsteps, the whole figure was like a galloping cannonball, carrying a puff of dust and smoke, and galloping towards Hanxing. His right hand was empty, light blue energy gathered, and a large sword burning with blue flame appeared in Madara, hands. Hanxing narrowed his eyes and said secretly, as expected of Uchiha Madara, using Suzano to this extent is much better than Urzuzi and Itachi. However, just using this type of move, you look down on me too much, Hanxing sneered. Whoosh! The figure flickered and disappeared in place, only a faint afterimage could be seen in the air, and the direction he was traveling was the direction Madara was facing. The black lightning flashed on the right hand, and a huge thunder-long knife with a trace of black fireworks appeared in the hand. Junior. Today's old man's body is at its peak, but he is not as weak as he was just now. He wants to humiliate me in the same way. I am really self-righteous. Madara's voice was cold and arrogant, with a hint of disdain in her tone. How do you know if you haven't fought? It's no longer the world of you and your ancestor Hashirama. I advise you to hurry back to the ground to survive. Hanxing was not afraid at all, fighting each other. Looking for death. Madara snorted coldly, her speed suddenly accelerated. Hanxing also dare not show weakness. Two streamers, one red and one black, collided instantly. Clang. There was a sound of weapons crashing around. Advertisement. The violent power erupted from the hands of the two. Boom. The ground on which the two were standing collapsed in an instant. The soil and gravel on the ground rose like waves, turning into a small vortex, spinning around the two. Cobweb-like cracks followed, quietly and quickly spreading to the outside. Hum. The powerful impact is like a 10th-level hurricane. It radiates from the two people's bodies. The mud vortex around them is directly shattered by this impact. The remaining power is not diminished, and it spreads wildly in all directions, covering 100 miles around in the blink of an eye. In the center, Hanxing and Madara face each other with their weapons of their own. Junior, I thought you were only skilled in ninjutsu, but I didn't expect taijutsu to be so powerful. Madara's scarlet eyes looked at Hanxing, and there was a rare compliment in her arrogant words. Award. A prize. It's rare. You are so old, and you still have such strong physical strength. Not bad, Hanxing sneered. Boom. Madara suddenly pushed Hanxing out. Hanxing seemed to have expected it, and then backed up, a backflip, and stood on the ground stably. Whoosh. Madara, holding a blue flame-long sword, suddenly appeared in front of Hanxing, deceiving herself and wielding the sword. Hanxing's complexion remained unchanged, and the black long knife directly attacked. Clang. Black and blue sparks splashed, accompanied by a huge collision of weapons. Advertisement. The ground collapsed again, forming a small pothole. The two collapsed at a touch, and then attacked together again violently. Boom. 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 Like a whack-a-mole, the flat ground becomes bumpy in the blink of an eye, and there are small potholes everywhere. The two of them turned into two streams of light, fighting farther and farther, and wherever they passed, dust was flying, and nothing grew, like two human-shaped tyrannosaurs, pushing everything horizontally. And from time to time there is a heart-pounding blue or black sword glow. Each sword glow can be comparable to a level ninjutsu, the wind blade. Not far away, Tsunade looked at the scene in shock. She felt that the battle had subverted her cognition. Whether it was the previous powerful aura confrontation, or the current pure physique fighting between the two, the casual blows of the two of them were even more powerful than the strange powers she was using now. I am afraid that elite Jonin can't bear the aftermath of the two. I am afraid that only a Kage-level powerhouse like her can be safe and sound. Is this the strength of Grandpa's lifelong rival and best friend? Did he stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world before? Compared with the two not far away, Tsunade felt that he was an ant, and I was afraid that if he went up, he would be killed by Madara. Different from Tsunade, Shikuji and others sighed repeatedly, as expected of a big man who was famous in the ninja world at the same time as first Hokage-sama, and at the same time felt his own insignificance again. I thought Kage level was the world's top combat power, but after seeing the battle between the two, Lu Ju realized that he was very wrong. What a Kage level is a scum in front of the two. In the slightly turbid sky, Onogi, a short stature, stood out of thin air, watching the two destructive battles below, unable to calm down for a long time. He was very familiar with those two figures, and one of them made him unforgettable in this life, like a nightmare. Advertisement. That man is Uchiha Madara, but what he didn't expect was that Uchiha, who was rumored to have been killed by first Hokage at the beginning, is still alive. Still the same as before, with the same appearance and even the same body. Uchiha Madara. He's still alive. What a surprise to the old man. Also, that Senju Han can fight on a par with Uchiha Madara. What a surprise to the old man. Da Yemu stood high in the sky, his face was frightened, and there was a trembling in his voice unconsciously. This is, from Uchiha Madara's nightmare trembling. Really damn it. Why don't I have a talent like Senju Han in Rock Shinobi Village? Konoha. Yuan Fei Hiruzen is really a good hand. If you know that Senju Han has such strength, I am afraid that he will definitely regret using conspiracy and tricks to destroy the Senju family. No, it is estimated that the moment Senju Han hit Konoha, Yuan Fei Hiruzen already regretted it. Hee. That's fine. Now Senju Han is alone and doesn't belong to the 5 great nations, as long as he doesn't recruit him. Alas. After today, it is estimated that the news of this battle will spread throughout the entire ninja world, and Senjuan's position as the new god of ninja world will be unshakable. Onogi murmured a lot of nonsense, nothing more than 2 meanings. One is shocked Madara is still alive, the other is envious of Senju Han. Below, small potholes appeared out of thin air on the ground, as if a small meteorite rain fell on the ground last night, and the surrounding flowers, plants and trees disappeared, leaving a barren area for hundreds of miles. After the 2 streamers, one black and one red, collided once again, they returned to their original places and looked at both sides with a dull expression. Through the trial and fight just now, the 2 have discovered that in terms of physical skills, the 2 people's accomplishments are not very different, and neither can do anything to the other. Continuing to fight will only be a waste of time. Chapter 200 Previous chapter Next chapter Advertisement. Madara. Stop trying. It's been almost a minute. If you do this again, your ultimate sublimation will be useless, Hanxing said flatly. I'm so happy. It's been a long time since I've played so comfortably. Madara's arrogant eyes showed a hint of relief. Junior. You are very good. Next time, I will use all my strength, Madara praised loudly. As soon as the voice fell, the Sharingan in his eyes turned frantically, forming a sickle shape. The whole person was wrapped in light blue energy and turned into the shape of a skeleton. Madara also, because of this, the whole person floated up, standing in the air. Skull's head. He put his hands around his chest and stared at him, looking at Hanxing below, and said, Junior, this is the ultimate eye technique of my Uchiha clan, Suzano. It not only integrates offense and defense, but also long-range attack. You are not wronged when you lose in his hands. As Madara spoke, the light blue skull behind him held a large hand, and a light blue arrow appeared in his hand. The other hand is in the shape of a bow, with a string like a full moon, aiming at the Hanxing below. It is a shot. Whoosh! The light blue energy arrow, said to be an arrow, can actually be compared to a light blue long spear, piercing the air with a terrifying sonic boom, galloping towards Hanxing. Hanxing's expression remained unchanged. The black thunder light flickered on his body, and a huge thunder gun converged above his head in the blink of an eye. Whoosh! With a thought, Hanxing rushed towards the light blue Susa arrows in the sky. Hum! The 2 arrows collided in midair in an instant. 2 energy arrows, one black and one blue, suddenly burst into dazzling light. Advertisement like 2 arrows from heaven and earth. One falls from the sky, and the other rises from hell. 2 beams of light turned the entire midair into 2 bright colors, one blue and the other black. Just like the Chu River and the Han world in chess, divide and rule. In the middle of the 2 spear lights, dark red lightning intertwined with each other, flashing, and the void was twisted with a trace. It seemed a little unbearable. A huge shock wave erupted from between the 2, swept wildly around like a hurricane, and even the clouds floating in the air were shattered by this aftermath, revealing the drowsy sky inside. At this time, a white light suddenly appeared from the center of the 2, and then reflected the entire sky, like a bright sun, illuminating the world. After a while, the white light disappeared, and the 2 attacks of Hanxing and Madara also dissipated. There are slight fluctuations in Madara's Scarlet Sharingan, obviously a little uneasy. Hanxing's strength has refreshed his cognition this time. It can't be delayed. Otherwise, this ninjutsu is really as he said, it's useless, Madara thought to herself. The index finger and thumb stand up, the hands are folded, a mark is formed, the whole body is filled with chakra, and the Scarlet Sharingan is turning frantically. The Suzano on his body began to change at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the flesh and blood began to gradually emerge. The entire body also seemed to be wearing a thick layer of armor, and a light blue long knife appeared in his hand. Whether it is stature or physique, it is stronger than before. This is not over yet. I saw that Suzano's meridian flesh and blood began to spread downward, and in the blink of an eye, the lower limbs and legs were formed. Hanxing narrowed his eyes, feeling the strong chakra fluctuations coming from Madara, and frowned. Are you planning to use the full body Suzano? It can't go on like this, Hanxing murmured. The black thunder and lightning fill the body, the rich chakra rises into the sky, and the dazzling thunder and lightning are like a dazzling black pearl. Advertisement, 5 billion volts Thor is coming, Hanxing suddenly shouted. One after another powerful electric snakes emanated from Hanxing and began to gather together quickly. In the blink of an eye, a thunder giant with a height of 1,000 meters and a black spear appeared in the eyes of everyone. Hanxing is the same as Madara, standing between the eyebrows of the thunder giant, like a third eye. Hanxing's transformation is completed in an instant, 1 point faster than Madara's complete body Susa. With the completion of Hanxing, Madara's complete body Susa has also reached the final step, and a dark blue giant that is comparable to Hanxing is standing vertically. It is wearing a Tengu armor and holds 2 huge dark blue long knives, which exudes a rich dark blue flame. The power is heart-pounding. There are 2 huge wings on the back, and the wings can cover the sky. This is the full-body Suzano, which can only be unlocked if the Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil power reaches ultimate and has a huge chakra. After 2 mountain-like giants appeared out of thin air on the field, everyone watching from a distance took a deep breath again. This is completely beyond their imagination. This is one of the gods of the ninja world, Uchiha Madara, who is side by side with first Hokage. At the same time, they realize their insignificance once again. Madara and Hanxing naturally didn't know what the people in the distance thought. Their eyes only had their enemies not far away. Boom! Boom! All of a sudden, Suzano's full body moved, and walked towards Hanxing step by step. Every time I took a step, the ground shook, and a huge Susa footprint appeared there. Not to be outdone, Han Shin's thoughts moved, and the thunder giant with a long spear also began to move. Advertisement in an instant, the mountain shook, the earth trembled, like a dragon turning over. The distance between the two is not far, and in just an instant, the 2 giants have collided together. The dark blue flame long knife, with an indomitable power, swung towards Hanxing. Boom! The thunder giant turned slightly to one side, the pitch black spear, and the lightning flashed like a black laser, slamming into Suzano's heart. At this time, with the dodging of the thunder giant Hanxing, the dark blue flame sword will see the ground. The ground is like a paper paste, and the entire flame sword is completely submerged into the ground. A deep knife mark was left on the ground, bottomless, like a mark in the sky. When, click! At this time, a huge roar sounded like the opening of the world. I saw Hanxing's thundering spear bombarded Suzano's chest, and a blue flame sword suddenly lay in front of the spear tip. Dong dong dong. The mountain-like Suzano was directly forced to take a few steps backwards by the force from Hanxing's spear. On the blue flame long knife that resisted the thunder spear, a crack appeared quietly. This junior, Madara felt the change on her Suzano, and there was a hint of surprise on Furui Bubo's face. Unexpectedly, without Rinnegan now, with his full strength, he is also somewhat inferior to the younger generation in front, which makes Madara unable to calm down.